Once there was a whisper on the wind of a town where every road begins, where the pages turn and lanterns glow, and little stories start to grow. Up the river past the pines, where the old stone tower climbs, past the basalt by the sea, where a city used to be. Travelers with dusty boots, farmers, scholars, wandering youth, every heart and every trail holds another tiny tale. Tiny tales gather round in the hush of the small town sound. From the heart to the open trail, every voice becomes a tale. Tiny tales, day by day, small brave souls will find their way. Close your eyes and you will see big adventures start small and free. Some are bold and some unsure, some seek fortune, some seek cure, some just pass and some remain under sun or autumn rain. Mysteries in forests deep, secrets rivers always keep. Turn the page and you may find magic born of humankind. So open wide the weathered door. There are always stories more in every laugh and every fail. It's another tiny tale.
Computer. There. Welcome on in, everybody. It was working, and then I rebooted my computer, and then the microphones decided to not work. So I don't know what's going on. Welcome on in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for the next installment of Tiny Tales. It is a bunch of series of small campaigns, small little mini adventures for singular groups. They're going to be anywhere from 1 adventure to 3, maybe 4 adventures. ID 10 error, ID 10T error. Yes. That's exactly what it is. But welcome on in, guys. If you don't know This particular mini campaign within Tiny Tales is called the Sandpoint Decision. With us below is people you might recognize from some of other RPGs. I've stated this at the beginning of the other adventures, and I want to state it again. These are the founders of the United Galarian. These are the originators. These are the ones that started it. 14 and counting. Higgy, I don't need to read it, but I'm doing it anyhow. Welcome on in, Higgy. Thank you for that. Welcome on in. Come on in. Enjoy the story. So these 4 people below me were the starting of the original Sandpoint campaign, which sparked a million different adventures, a million different campaigns, and an entire cast of characters, players, NPCs, and more. And now, hearkening back to the original location and something that they started, they are here to decide the fate of it, but in the ruse of them, they are playing other characters that are discovering kind of what happened in the aftermath of what happened when Sandpoint vanished off the face of the earth. So I do want to say my write-up, because they covered a lot of ground in the last game. A lot of ground. A lot of things. So my write-up is a little lengthy. My recap is a little bit lengthy. But luckily for all of you, if you missed the previous adventure, guess what? You've got this really great in-depth recap that we're going to go through. There are a lot of stories taking place. You know, the players might not realize how many stories they have woven into this adventure that they are finding and discovering and learning, and some that haven't even occurred yet. So we will see how things play out, and of course, maybe by the end of this one, or we might have one more game, might decide the fate of Sandpoint. So, previously on Tiny Tales, the Sandpoint Decision, Part 2. The investigation into the disappearance of Sandpoint continued as Corvus Silverheart, Keshi Shadowrock, Lord Ekhard Shaw, and Lady Iska Valdemar began digging deeper into the growing settlement known locally as The Pond, or Biston's Pond, which is where it's sited. A town built in the aftermath of Sandpoint's many tragedies and eventual disappearance. After regrouping over lunch at the Eagle Inn, the party shared the information they gathered so far. They learned that the town was governed by a council representing the different portions of the community, and that many of its residents were former citizens or refugees from Sandpoint itself. Corvus decided that their next step should be finding the council and understanding how this unnamed town truly functioned. The party split their efforts. Corvus and Keshi...
Pokemon is up! Pokemon is up!
We need to turn that off.
Get your Pokemon! Get your Pokemon!
We need to turn that off. We can still have the Pokemon Pokemon running, but we're going to turn off the alerts for that right now, because they are really active this week. They got a lot of stuff going on, so we're just going to do that. There we go. As I was saying before we were rudely interrupted by a Siglapith, the party split their efforts. Corvus and Keshi pursued the town's civic and religious leaders, while Ekhard and Iska traveled to this center of town, the center tower, and later the School of Magic, believing it may hold answers regarding the mysterious wizard Miles, the man who is sought by the Natalese woman, Kelifin, and her magically gifted son, only known as Junior. Before leaving, the party questioned the innkeep further, and learned several important details of the town. The enormous tree at the edge of the town branching into the pond was, in fact, a church of Gazray. The laborers, fishermen, loggers, and many shopkeepers were former Sandpoint residents, while the crusaders who had settled here after the closing of the World Wound were not. They also learned that several names tied to the council, including Jord, Eli, and Halis Korvaski, a relative of one of the leaders of the Sandpoint Mercantile Guild operating out of Magnimar. Corvus and Keshi first met with Benji, the priest of Gazray. From him they learned perhaps some of the most unsettling confirmations yet. Sandpoint had vanished literally overnight. Travelers who regularly journeyed between the two settlements reported the city standing one day and gone the very next. Benji also informed them that the local dwarven smiths of Hammered, Rak, and Garar were knowledgeable in the matters of stone and geology, and might be useful in assessing the strange basalt flats where Sandpoint once stood. They also learned that the council currently consisted of only 6 members, with discussions underway to appoint a 7th representative of the faithful. Meanwhile, Ekhard and Iska visited the ancient tower overlooking the town, where they met the groundkeeper Jack and briefly encountered a woman in the background named Rosita, who is currently milking goats. There they learned more about the town's structure and customs. The locals referred to the settlement as Biston's Pond while awaiting some possible future official naming from Korvosa or Magnimar or the world at large. They also learned that Eli, the headmaster of the School of Magic, resided within the tower, along with a caretaker Al, and some of the town's legendary founders, particularly the wizard Maraktis and the hero Talon, who still occasionally return from time to time. After leaving the tower, Ekhard and Iska took time to speak privately over drinks in the quiet Mosswood pub, a tavern not known for the moss that covers it, which it did have, but also from the redwood harvested from the nearby Mosswood forest. There, quietly and away from others, the two discussed not only how Magnimar and Korvosa might benefit the situation surrounding Sandpoint, but how they themselves might benefit as well. They saw opportunity in the rapid growth of this independent town, a settlement flourishing despite lacking major noble oversight. During their conversation, Iska also pointed out something that Ekhard had overlooked due to Korvosa's familiarity with such things, and that being pseudo-dragons and house drakes, appearing surprisingly common throughout the town. Meanwhile, Corvus and Keshi later met with Halis Korvaski, the owner of Biston's boutique and one of the council members. Corvus formally requested a council meeting for the following evening so he could present undisclosed information by authority of the Bank of Abadar. During their conversation, they learned more about the town's history after Sandpoint's fall, the Scarnetti influence that had lost much of their influence, trade throughout the region and how it had shifted dramatically, and only two of the settlement's original founders that still returned regularly, as mentioned with the other group, Maraktis and Talon. They also learned that Han and Amiko had vanished at some time earlier as well, traveling to Min Kai, where it is rumored that Amiko had become an empress. Perhaps the most surprising, however, was the revelation that this town had recently been the site of a major Pathfinder Society battle, believed to be the final conflict to overthrow the corrupt leadership within the organization. The large gravesite known as the Dragon's Burial now stood as a memorial to those who died there, and Halis requested that Corvus offer Abadar's blessing upon the site. The pair later recruited Dwarven smiths Rack and Garar to accompany them back to the Basalt Flats in Sandpoint at dawn in hopes of identifying the strange stones surrounding Sandpoint's remains. Keshi convinced Corvus to leave a message for Maraktis through a local shopkeeper, hoping to lure the legendary wizard into meeting them, though it would be under the guise of official business from the Bank of Abadar rather than questions about Junior. At the School of Magic, Ekhard and Iska eventually met with Eli, the headmaster. They discussed the possibility of enrolling Junior into the school and learned more about its philosophy, a place not merely for wizards, but understanding the teachings of all forms of magic. During their meeting, Iska noticed something deeply unsettling about Eli. Though his appearance did not seem particularly old, his eyes carried the weight of far more years than they should. Eli himself explained this away as a magical malady that occasionally caused confusion between events and memories, though Iska, privately, suspected something closer to dementia. They also shared information on the young Nidalese boy, and Eli decided he would take great interest in asking the boy to meet with him. He would meet with him on his own time the next day, giving them a chance to speak to the boy and the mother in advance. When asked directly about Sandpoint, Eli gave the most direct answer anyone in the party had yet to receive. Sandpoint, according to him, was lost due to cosmic events, and he warned them not to pursue the matters further than that. Corvus and Keshi later traveled to Dragon's Burial, where Corvus blessed the memorial grounds before continuing to meet Jord, the owner of the local lumber operation. There they learned more about the economic impact of Sandpoint's disappearance, lumber contracts vanished overnight, major shipyard projects lost, and while the construction of the School of Magic in the town itself had temporarily stabilized the business, the future remained uncertain. More importantly, they discovered the local logging operation worked in cooperation with the Fae in the nearby forest, harvesting only what the Fae permitted and compensating them with goods, supplies, and strange favors in return. But with trade collapsing, even those fragile agreements were now endangered. By the end of the day, the party regrouped and compared everything they had learned. One truth became impossible to ignore. Across priests, laborers, merchants, loggers, and common folk alike, a single resentment echoed throughout the town. Sandpoint had long been claimed by both Korvosa and Magnimar, yet when danger came, neither city truly protected it. Heroes and adventurers had always been the ones focused on saving the town. That realization shifted the tone of the investigation. No longer was the question simply what happened to Sandpoint. Now the question had become what should replace it, and whether either of the great cities truly deserved control of its future. As the evening came to a close, Iska and Ekhard proposed a bold idea. Rather than Sandpoint being rebuilt itself, perhaps a new seaport be constructed to support the growing settlement at Biston's Pond. Corvus, however, challenged them directly, asking whether their cities had any true plan to support the people this time around, or whether they merely wished to profit once again from the region. And Ekhard and Iska, seeing this opportunity, suggested perhaps the answer was personal investment. If he and Iska themselves financed and oversaw the project, they would have a direct stake in the town's future and success. Corvus listened carefully and requested a formal proposal. However, in the morning, they meet with townfolk and return to Sandpoint. Did I miss anything? Dear God, I hope not. I think I got everything and then some.
Not that I can think of.
That was pretty solid. Yeah.
I literally sat down and watched the thing and I just typed all the notes in and then I rewrote it. So we'll close that down. I also, any of the things that we did that were retcons, I make sure to put in the write-up as the retcon and not as what actually happened. For instance, some of the people you met got flip-flopped with their names and whatnot. So if you guys had notes as such and didn't update them, they can now be updated with that information. So for everybody here that is joining us and is now recapped on the story, welcome to Tiny Tales. I'm assuming you guys are just going to go to sleep for the night and then get up in the morning and get to business.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
All right. We pass the evening. It's a good night's sleep. The inn is fairly quiet. The town gets fairly quiet at night. All that you really hear is some of the sounds of the wilderness nearby. Every once in a while, you hear townfolk saying things or doing things, but it's also, there's not like a ton of street lamps and lighting outside either, this being your first actual night in Biston's Pond. However, you do hear a lot of like sounds outside that are they're animals. Rolana Halo, welcome on in as our first of the night guest game master. Thank you so much. It's a bad night's sleep. Hey everyone, that's Jokers. Thank you DJ for lurking. Appreciate you. What you find out is at nighttime, those pseudo dragons and house drakes that you've seen, they spend a good portion of their night aloft the roofs of the cities, knowing some histories and maybe for some other reason, something that's not normal. It's almost like the pseudo dragons and the house drakes spend the night on watch. Much like cats at night, only they're intelligent. So, yes, they're hunting. Yes, they're looking for food. But they also help watch over the town at night because they can see at nighttime. At least that's what you assume from what you see, because you actually hear when you're in the hallway, you hear them scrabbling to go out. And you even hear some of them, because some of them speak, the house drakes speak verbally, even though the pseudo dragons don't. And one of them is like, no, don't worry. One of the house drakes is like, don't worry, so-and-so, I've got watch tonight over this building. And that's kind of the only piece that you get from that, which kind of explains the codependency of the house drakes, because humans can't see at night. But they sure can, and they're small, and they're fucking everywhere. The next morning, nothing happens overnight, but the next morning you guys all wake up. Meet, have breakfast, and maybe go over the plans of exactly what your day-to-day plans are. Now, from what I understand, Matt, you plan to leave to go to Sandpoint, but you have, was it in this evening you plan to meet with the council?
Correct.
Okay, so you're going to go there, assess stuff, and get back before nightfall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
I, as the GM, needed to know.
And me and the dwarves and Keshi.
Are the others going to go with to Sandpoint to reassess?
That is up to them.
We can, but we gotta touch base with the child first and the mother to
Yeah,
let them
you have
know.
time in the morning to do that
Okay.
if you'd like.
As long as we have a little bit of time just to touch base with them, let them know what we talked about with the headmaster, Eli, then I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go.
And she's like, she comes down right after you say that, like, hey, if we have time, we'll go with, but if we have time, we'll talk to them about that. And then you hear the mother talk to us about what? And she walks up and sits down at your table because she's staying in the same inn as you because you guys got them a room.
Right, right. We spoke with Headmaster Eli. He sounded very interested in wanting to talk to you and your son.
About what?
Uh,
Instant worry.
about interest in perhaps um, having him join the school, if that is something that the two of you have an interest with.
Potential
They have a very
enrollment as a way to teach him control and all of those things so that, you know, people can't find you as easy, ideally.
So she pauses and she looks to the other two who were not there for the earlier conversation you had with her
okay.
about that. So she is unaware that the other two know that her son has magical capabilities, other than the little bit that they, because she wasn't there. She didn't see that you guys tricked him, so she doesn't know that the others know. She only knows that Ekhard and Iska know.
Gotcha.
And so she looks worried, like, are they going to know? And so she kind of freezes in that moment with all four of you there.
I'll look at her like trying to be like reassuring about it. Be like, your son has magical talent. He is a young child who does tend to show off like most children do. All of us have seen him use his magics.
Then she gives
Every
him a scathing look.
and I'm gonna look and I'm gonna say, um, if you want to keep it under wraps, you can. It will just be more and more difficult for him. Uh, and you must also not freeze whenever it is brought up. It is a sure sign that you are hiding something.
Nothing saved. Nothing saved. I turned that off too, and it didn't turn off apparently.
So, yeah, um, you must be better take care of your shock if it is brought up. If it is something that you will, if you do decide to hide.
She nods. She's like, I think they just they can't. They're gonna find him. They're gonna track him down, and they can't. I can't. Please. She grabs your hand. She's like, the people can't know. Please,
Powerful
I
wizards,
beg you.
people with magic, get found out. It is better for him to have power and control and be trained how to, if need be, defend himself from being taken, if that is your concern.
You see her tears roll up. She's like, I can't tell you, but you don't understand. You don't understand. You're not.
You're right.
We'll talk with him. We'll talk with him. We'll talk with this Eli, but I'm not comfortable.
We promised nothing. All we asked was that he meet with you to see if it was something that you and your son would be interested in and or feel would be beneficial. You don't have to accept the offer. It's a thought that might be helpful. And if after meeting with the headmaster you think that it's not, then absolutely no obligation. You do not have to commit to that. We made no promises on your behalf, just made an introduction so that the headmaster would know that you were in town and might want to talk.
I heard
Yes.
someone say that there was a wizard from Sandpoint that comes here regularly, so it might be Miles. It might be Miles. So I just wait a couple weeks for him to show up.
The wizard that comes to town is a man by the name of Maraktis. However, I have it on good authority that he knows of this Miles. He will be your best lead.
Then I'll wait for him to show up and see if he knows.
Very well. More than anything, we just wanted to let you know what had resolved with the
I'll
the
meet with him
headmaster.
when is he gonna come?
As far as Maraktis, I don't
No, Eli.
know.
The
Eli?
headmaster. Yeah, when is the headmaster gonna come?
My apologies. He said he would come this morning
Later this evening.
or later.
He was
this
gonna give you guys time to talk to them about it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. He was going to stop by later this evening and just to give you some time to, well, have the discussion for us to have the discussion with you and let you think a bit about what path you might want to pursue.
Okay. She nods. She's like, well, I'm gonna get him and I some breakfast, and we're gonna have a little chat about his use of magic around strangers. Thank
And,
you.
Thank
you.
Be gentle. Kids like to show off. I mean, anybody does if they have something special. And it is harder for a child.
Yes, but if he shows off to the wrong person, it will level this entire town.
Isn't it easier to hide amongst other magic users than to be one in an island? The school might be safer. There are multiple children his age. He won't be the only magic user. No one will look twice at a little boy running around with a spell component pouch.
Keshi, you can make a diplomacy check.
Okay.
Because everybody's made logical arguments. You were the last one to come up with a logical argument, so you get to make the check.
10.
All right, you get bonuses from everybody else as well.
So 16?
So she nods and goes, maybe you're all right. And he can learn something and learn to control it and learn to hide it. And she looks at him, but still learn until we find Miles. And he can help us. Rolana. Memory lapse is also a great spell for forgetting things. So they go and get food. You still see there's some halflings that are the halflings that were there. You see that their rooms that they were staying in are opened and are completely clean, and there are no additional halflings that are staying here. It looks like they have already gotten up, done their business, and left for the day.
Okay. I think, yeah, finish eating and then go out to the windmill and wait for the dwarves.
All right, you guys get breakfast, you get packed up, and you get ready to head out. You head to the windmill, and at the windmill, where's my show notes? There. You see. No. You see a gentleman is there, and he's loading up sacks of grain at one of the windmills. And he looks at you guys. He's like, "Can I help you?" He walks over.
Oh.
Bigger guy, broad
Mhm.
shoulders, kind of stout belly, but he's a bigger dude.
Oh, we're just meeting Rack and Gar here before we go out for the day. It's a nice landmark to that us newcomers can't miss.
Ah, for sure. Are you guys planning on putting down here and growing roots here?
No, most certainly not.
Oh. And he looks at all of you. He's like, oh, all right. Well, if you ever choose to. My name's Willie. My wife over there is Lily, and we run the mills here. And yeah, well, welcome to town.
Well, you do a great service in Abadar's name by um, running these mills. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's getting up and running. All the local farmers are they're looking for a place to do stuff, and if I can mill the stuff, it's worth more to them and worth more to me. So it's working out for now, and we can help supply the town with milled food. So he nods. Back to it then. And he grabs one sack, like a sack with one hand, and just tosses it over his shoulder and grabs another one and tosses it like in the little hole, and then grabs another one and his other arm and like just walks off with it. Like, not a big deal. Like, clearly very strong.
mm-hmm.
I mean, he's also really tall. He's closing in on 8 feet, and he doesn't look proportionately weird. He looks human racially. He's just a really big,
strong,
strong human. Yeah.
When he walks away, I'm gonna punch Corvus in the arm. I thought you were better at talking to people.
I did not want to give him any false sense that a Church of Abadar was going to be coming into town. At least nothing that I know of. I could see one appearing in Sandpoint if it ends up being rebuilt, but I don't see one being here.
Not everything is about Abadar. Like, you're not going to get your way with the council if you walk in there and insult them by saying, certainly not. I'm not going to move here. Certainly not.
Well, I guess I could say probably not if they ask.
You could say, it's a lovely town, but I'm just visiting.
And that leaves it open. I think Keshi is right.
I am not saying Keshi is wrong. I am just saying that
This is why you bring Keshi along.
my concern is that if I give them thoughts that I may move here, they might talk with my superiors to say, hey, we need a fountain of faith to fill the last council spot. Then I'm commanded by the church to come here. If I want to set up roots, I want it to be my choice, not dictated to me by my superiors.
But who's to say that isn't Abadar guiding your hand through an intermediary? Of course. I mean, granted, you're much more knowledgeable of the philosophical, but
When Abadar gives a portent to someone, it is in lieu of a windfall, or kind of like gold from the heavens. So
would it not be a windfall to create a brand new Church of Abadar / Bank of Abadar that you run and have control over?
Oh, the paperwork and costs involved in that. I do not have the deep pockets like you, Mr. Shaw.
Oh, come, Corvus. We know you love the paperwork.
And I just kind of like blush a little bit. Well, that is true.
Maybe they don't even want a Bank of Abadar here.
Well, and that's fair. Admittedly, Iska and I have discussed some opportunities to perhaps invest in the community, or even to maybe help in the rebuilding of Sandpoint, maybe not in the terms of what it used to be, but what something that it could become to help bolster the community and help add to the security of this region.
Oh, interesting. How did you work on the proposal, you two, last night after I went to bed? What your thoughts are?
We have been workshopping it. You could say we have some good ideas, and honestly, it might not be. Granted, it may be a little.
You guys see a wagon pulls up mid-sentence. And you see the two dwarves in the back. It's like, here we go, hop on. And you see 4 people on the wagon. You see the 2 dwarves in the back, and in the front you see a half-orc and a half-elf.
Oh,
I'll hop in.
you brought
Yeah.
friends for the excursion. Perfect.
Well, we kind of mentioned to them about the rock and the ballista bolts that you mentioned for the place next door, and they were interested, and they haven't made a trip to Sandpoint since they discovered it's empty, and so they figured they'd take another trip, and they were just as invested in the situation as we were. So, and they had a nice fast wagon, so it works out for all of us.
That it definitely
And they know
is.
the route. They used to travel it almost every other day.
Ah. Well, this should definitely help us make it back for dinner. Kind of chuckle a little bit as I climb up in.
Oh yeah, they have two of the fastest horses that the Pixies ponies have bred.
Perfect.
And the one orc reaches over. Oi, I'm Grimax. Big huge hand.
Corvus.
Shakes
This
your
is
hand, and
Keshi.
he's gentle with his handshake. He's very professional. And you see the half elf just waves. He's like, "My name's Larry. I partners with Grimax. I ride the thing. Sometimes fall off a cliff."
Pleasure to meet both of you. Corvus, this is Iska, Lord Shaw, and here is Keshi.
Iska, you have
Yes.
heard of a Larry who has traveled a lot, but he used to work for a shipwright in Magnimar
Mm-hmm.
many years ago. But you have heard of him, and you knew that he had moved to some small bunk town to just do local work and help out and build wagons. And so now you found out where he has gone.
Okay.
With that being said, you guys get on the wagon, and the wagon hauls off. And you guys make your way back towards the town of Sandpoint. Or what was once Sandpoint.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna boop, 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 boop. As you approach, after a short while, I think it's like an hour and a half ride, you guys make your way to Sandpoint. Everybody roll a perception check.
Which route do they go? Do they go like around, like north of the platter, or do they skirt the south of the platter? Or do they go through like the
They go on
farm route?
the north side of the river, and they follow the road on the north side of the river up and over.
Okay.
Are we still in a forest?
I'll give you your forest bonus. Sure.
I got a nat 20.
Nice.
Got a normal 20.
So everybody who got a 20, you see just off the shores a large ship is moored there at the entrance of Sandpoint, right at the river exit. Iska, you as you approach, you actually see on the far side, on the opposite side of Sandpoint, there's a little basin. If we're looking at the, let's make sure I'm on the right layer here so you guys can see my pings. Way off in the far left, can you see my ping?
Yep.
So over on that area, you actually see a small camp being built.
I feel like we should go investigate that. I pointed out to everyone else.
Yeah. Is the bridge and stuff on the southern part of town still there?
No,
Okay, so we kind of have to like find a place
you have to
ford
hop
the
across
river.
rocks and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
The northern route that you guys are coming across, like because you're north of the river, so you can just get right into Sandpoint. There is no bridge to cross.
Okay.
Because you're on the north side of the river.
Was there
Oh.
any insignia on the ship or sails of the ship?
From this distance, you can't see any flags. It looks like it is. Well, one of them you do see is they fly the flag of whatever locality they're in, which is Magnimar. So they're like, "Hey, we're in Magnimar. We're free," but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're from Magnimar. Just that they're officially like they're okayed by the Magnimarian fleet that they're a safe harbor. They're a safe ship. Not that that means people can't fake it, but oftentimes ship will sail multiple flags in the order in which they are, and you can't make out the other one until you start to get a little bit closer. Go ahead and make a second perception check as you get closer, Keshi, because you did roll pretty high. So I'm going to give you a secondary shot as you get closer to make it out.
Sort of assume this has nothing to do with the forest.
Correct.
23.
23. Go ahead and make your knowledge, nobility, royalty.
Oh. Yeah.
Like you work in Magnimar, so spotting the Magnimarian thing.
Eight.
You see it, but you have no idea what it looks like.
Great. Cool. Obviously not important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some sort of weird arch-looking thing is what the flag looks like, but you don't know what that is or what that means.
Talk to the dwarves and the ballista creators or wagon makers.
Yeah.
Be like, I think we need to check out what is happening on that point there. Feel free to stay here and check out the rocks on this side. To look at it, tell us what you think of them. That is really my interest of what this rock perhaps could be used for, or even how long it may take to mine if that is something that the owners wish to do.
Are you okay if we take a wagon full of the rock?
Yeah, I am fine with that. And I look at you three. Shall we find a place to cross the river and see what is happening?
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
That's what you want to do.
Might as well.
Okay.
We're here.
The arch sounds vaguely familiar. Is there like a knowledge check one could roll to?
Does Keshi say anything about the arch, or are you just assuming?
Oh,
you
sorry.
check
I
it
guess
out?
I don't think she would. It's
Iska
Fair
being
enough, then.
Iska
Never
being
mind
a
then.
sailor, I would give the chance to think, hey, I immediately try and identify the ship, right? That's like second. That's just like instinct. So I would give Iska a chance to roll to identify it after a little while.
You want like a profession sailor roll?
No, it's still going to be a knowledge nobility.
Okay.
Do you have ranks in Profession Sailor? Right. I'll give you a +2 bonus. I'll give you like I forget what they were called in 3rd edition.
Okay.
A synergy bonus.
Yeah, I'll give you a little synergy bonus, a little synergy buff there, and you can get above a 10.
Okay. Well, I have ranks in nobility, so it's okay.
Okay.
Not many, but hot day.
Dang.
Who needs the +2?
I guess.
Yeah, the arch. You can't tell from here, but you know in your mind the arch also is like individual bricks, and each brick has little symbols, little glyphs on it that are a symbol of the cipher gate out of Riddleport, which means that this ship hails from Riddleport.
Okay.
It also looks like it's probably some sort of mercantile ship passing through for whatever reason. But Riddleport comes through here on their way down and around often. You know, there's a lot of ships, but this ship the owners originate from Riddleport. That is its home of birth, as they would say.
Share the information.
Okay.
Okay.
Riddleport, huh?
Aren't they
That's
known
good
to
know.
have lots of piracy out of that particular burg?
Knowledge local,
I don't know what you're talking about.
24.
Yeah, there's piracy up in that neck of the woods, but there's piracy all over the place too. But yeah, it is known to have pirates here and there. I mean, it's nowhere near the Skull and Shackles area, but
Yeah.
I mean, where
Sure.
there's ships and merchants, there's also pirates. It's a given fact. It's part of civilization.
Yeah. Like, yes, there are pirates that are known to port out of there, but just like there are known to have pirates that sail out of Korvosa, and there's probably pirates that sailed out of Sandpoint here before it disappeared. So I think we shouldn't hold that against them, but maybe just keep it in steady memory, just in case they are less inclined to be helpful to answer questions versus run us through.
Very well.
Iska, you would also kind of know that if they are announcing that they're from Riddleport publicly, chances are they're not going to be pirates, because that would be really dumb.
It would be very silly.
For the same
yes.
reason that you guys are saying right now, like, oh, they're from Riddleport, they're obviously pirates. If at that point, they might as well just have a Jolly Roger up, right?
Right.
But at the same point, they might know you think that and not do it, because then you would think that they're legit. So really, who knows? But it's kind of known that ships out of Riddleport, if they sail with Riddleport colors, it's either because they don't mind announcing, hey, we're from Riddleport, and if you're a pirate and you want to deal with us, give it your best shot. Which means whoever's on that ship, if they're not pirates, they're probably also not afraid of pirates.
That's fair.
Cool. Yeah. Excellent. Well.
So, you guys make your way around if you're going to that little encampment. Now you have to go down and around. You have to cross the river down by the rocks where you cross to get in. So you guys have already crossed that one little path before, and then you can go down and around the bay, not the bay, the little freshwater area inside there. I forget what the lagoon, I guess, of it. And you guys circle around there to see the small encampment. And there's like 6 people. 2 of them aren't really doing anything. One of them is an older lady, and the other one is a younger gentleman he's got like a mustache, like a little mustache, but it's kind of like wispy, I guess. I want to say thin, but I don't mean thin as in size. I mean thin as in it's thinned out.
Mm.
Kind of like you would expect in like an ancient like a Oriental movie of old, where they kind of have a mustache but they don't. It's long hairs but they're pretty scraggly, sort of situation. But it's kind of a fashion statement because the guy is clearly dressed like a noble. Iska, roll a knowledge nobility.
Okay.
Yes.
Only a 14 this time.
You recognize him from somewhere, but you're not quite sure where.
Sure.
You
Okay.
recognize the lady as well. Welcome on in, Jax. It is Tiny Tales. So, you see them.
Yeah.
And they are like setting up camp. You actually see one of the people is setting up camp. Another person is setting stakes. They have a whole pile of stakes in a cart that looks like they've offloaded and brought up from shore in like a sled. And they're pounding stakes into the ground along the area. And they realize that it's not really working. So they have metal poles and they're slamming the metal poles into the ground to break it.
Mm-hmm.
To break the stone, and then they're putting the stakes in there, and you see eventually you see where there are like some bent stakes because the ground is hard. Like basalt is pretty solid even against metal, and so they're kind of having a hard time staking the land. As you guys approach, and everybody kind of stops what they're doing, and they look like they're ready to protect the two people, and the gentleman who is the younger gentleman, and he is young. He's probably in his 20s. He holds his hand. I was like, no. Please welcome our guests. Obviously a cleric of Abadar. Welcome, you and your compatriots. Please come in. Would you like some water? We have some freshly boiled seawater that is fresh. We made some tea if you'd like some tea.
I am good, thank you. Was just interested in what you all are trying to construct here.
Oh, we're staking our family's land and making sure that it's still properly there.
May I ask your name, sir?
My name is Adamar Scarnetti. And he holds out his hand.
Lord Ekhard Shaw, and I shake his hand.
Beautiful to meet you. Iska, you recognize the name now that he says his name. Adamar Scarnetti is he's an adventurer and a mercenary that has been hired by your house to do work. By Caleb Valdemar has hired him in the past to do odds and ends work, mercenary work. This Adamar Scarnetti has an entire adventuring crew that he utilizes, that he works with and has done work with the patriarch of your family's household.
Would I have ever sailed with him, perhaps?
No, he's not
on those jobs?
necessarily a sailor. He's an
Okay.
adventurer and a mercenary. So you've only met him in passing because you're not like directly with Caleb. Like you do a lot of other work, and you do a
Yeah.
lot of work with the Sandpoint Mercantile Guild and their organization, which is part of the Valdemars, but you're more focused there, whereas Caleb has a lot of other dealings with the family.
Okay.
But yeah, you know the Scarnetti family, and you know that the Scarnetti has in the past had a very large stake in Sandpoint. The former owner was a lesser, you've overheard, was some sort of lesser Scarnetti, and before that, Titus Scarnetti was very well known in noble circles all over Verizia.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
Ekhard, like the name of Scarnetti, everybody here knows the name Scarnetti, and you've heard it from the townsfolk, but you've also heard it before you came to town. It's one of the founding noble families of Sandpoint.
Yeah. So as they're doing introductions, I'm like, Scarnetti. I knew I recognized you from somewhere. Iska Valdemar.
Oh, I know your patriarch very well. It is very nice to meet you. Welcome in. Are you
Yes.
are you here to reassess your family's lands as well? I know that you had a merchant shop here, correct? the mercantile guild's sister, the owner of the sister, had a mercantile guild, if I recall my uncle saying.
Yeah, we're not here so much for that, but not for that either.
Matt, you know that sister lives in Biston's Pond. You met her. She is the council member.
Okay.
Mostly here to investigate what has happened.
Ah, well, if you
Get
need
some answers,
if you
maybe.
need anything from me or my family, we are more than here to help. We would love to reassess the civilization that was once Sandpoint and reclaim stakes to our family's heritage. This is my
That's
mother.
motive.
This is my mother, Enid Scarnetti. She held some lands in Riddleport, and I have convinced her to come with me here to reassess once we heard of the downfall of the town. We wanted to make sure that our family's claims were still intact here. As I'm sure many nobles want to make sure that their lands are properly assessed.
Yeah, makes sense. Can I sense motive him?
You certainly can. You can certainly try.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Nat 20 for a 27.
Well, that means I'm going to have
Nice.
that means I'm going to have to roll. Well, on a Halo, would you do me a favor? If you are in chat, do exclamation mark D20 and roll for me in chat. If you are in chat, would my guest GM exclamation mark die 20 and roll this bluff check for me?
Is it exclamation die 20 or exclamation D20?
There we go. Oh my god.
Like either works.
So you got a 10. But keep, by the way, guys, I'm going to say this now. It's not going to apply here. I already have the answer. But for the future reference, by the way, when you roll to give the GM a reroll, that can apply to the guest GMs as well.
Ooh. Terrifying.
So you don't want to do that.
In this case, however, the fact is that the good noble sir has a plus 16 to his bluff check, which means you
So I
beat him
still-
by 1. So you know that some of what he's saying is just blowing fucking smoke. But what you do know that there is a singular fact that he does want to reclaim Scarnati lands and rebuild Sandpoint.
Okay.
And when he says that there are likely other nobles that are going to come claim their lands, he also believes that is also true. In fact, you know that because why he asked you. He thought for sure you were doing so.
Gotcha. Cool.
So, but otherwise, like, he's mostly telling the truth, but he is very much blowing smoke because he sees that this is a priest of Abadar. So he's making it very grandiose, and he really wants to, like, because, if the Bank of Abadar supports the rebuilding of Sandpoint, it saves him a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so for him, blowing smoke about growing civilization and increasing trade and all of this, he's literally blowing smoke up Corvus's ass.
Which I will share with Corvus later, but right now I'm going to play the politician and just, be very diplomatic. Yes,
But,
of course.
But for the most part, everything he says is true. Like, he's not lying.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it was still a good spot of land that they had control of, so
right.
it makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I will just continue the conversation as if I don't see any flaws in what he is saying. I will fill in the crew later.
So yeah, he shakes your hand, shakes Corvus's hand. He looks at Keshi and he's like, welcome. Ekhard, welcome. Keshi, you see immediately, the first thing you see, civilization encroaching on natural lands. Like, you can see, like, here's their little pile of garbage that they've this is where they're going to put it for now. And like, here's the area that they've just scraped nature away and gave no shits about, like the creatures that were there. And like, even though there wasn't a lot because it's pretty barren with the basalt flats, but over on that peak, that's where some of the crossover between the basalt and natural ground merges, because it was right on the edge. And so they've chosen to make camp on the edge where there are trees and stake out the further north area where the land was, because they owned that whole point. So
Okay.
And Ekhard, he like nods at you and reaches to shake your hand because you're clearly a noble.
Yep.
What was his mom's name again?
Enid.
Enid, E-N-I-D. Enid Scarnetti.
And I
Like,
make
Wednesday
sure
is really
to
close to me.
shake his hand, but also to shake her hand.
Okay. She shakes your hand. She's like, it's a pleasure to meet you, mister. Or to meet you, Lord.
The pleasure's all mine.
Those of you with sense motive can all make a... Nope, not yet. Never mind. They aren't there. That's for later. That's for later. That's for later. There's an interaction that hasn't happened yet because it's not here.
I want to talk with Enid and just find out like how much she was paying in taxes to Magnimar.
Okay.
Just kind of like as a baseline to see what, because like this was probably like the premier property, I'm assuming, being like on the point, of just to see like what the family was paying for taxes to Magnimar.
Yeah. She says that she's not sure of the financials, that Titus kept all of his finances pretty secure here in town, and with the missing of Sandpoint, unfortunately, all of the paperwork had gone, and she doesn't know if the rapscallion that took over for Titus after he passed away, if they actually like paid attention to things like paperwork, or if they just shuffled everything off under the carpet.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Iska, I'm going to utilize your previous role. There's a little blowing smoke in there as well, but she doesn't know.
For sure.
So if you don't have the deed or the title to the land, how can you prove it's yours?
He's like, oh, family heritage. We have our family heritage line documented very well, and we know who owned the land before, and that's all filed with the banks and the cities.
I have the list of who owned what, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why we're here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I imagine the Bank of Abadar has.
Yeah, you have most of the lands. In fact, you
Copies.
actually have, like, if you pulled it out, you could look and see if what they're staking is accurate or not.
Mhm.
Because you actually have more or less what it is, even though you know the land has changed shape. So, like, there's going to have to be some changing and shifting if the land is supposed to get reassessed. But of course, they might not own this land if the cities decide that this goes back to nature and they don't get to keep it.
Mhm.
That is, again, up to you. But now you know
Yeah.
that there are nobles that, in fact, do want their land back.
Or at least one.
I want to sense motive Keshi,
Okay.
knowing like just to see if I can tell if Keshi is like feeling like out of sorts with how they're treating the land right now.
Okay.
16.
I will let you two decide what roles are good and what roles are bad. So
Is that good enough to kind of know how you're looking at this?
I'm sure. I have
Okay.
a +1 to any bluff or diplomacy. Like,
yeah,
can
and
probably
you
read
know,
like
and
an
you've been
book.
living with, you've known them since you were young. So
Yep. So I'm going to be like, oh, this is actually pretty perfect then. Keshi here is my expert at all things to deal with the land. And I'm going to pull out my book with like the records and all the property lines. I'm like, Keshi, would you mind making sure, like, I want to make sure that their land is set properly. We would hate for them to lose any land that's not theirs as they're placing their stakes. would you mind? And I'll like hand her the book of where the line should be, just to make sure they're getting their fair allotment.
Clever.
Like,
Yeah.
he's allowing you to set the family lines on whatever you want. So you could dick them or you could be honest. It is up to you. And Corvus is letting you do it.
How big an area does mending fix? Not very big, right?
Not very big.
Isn't it like a small poundage as far as size or something like that?
Yeah, it's not make
Mhm.
whole.
1 pound per level.
There you go.
Okay.
Level 3.
So 3 pounds per casting.
Well, I don't know if I can mend the rocks that they broke, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I mean, they're just little holes. So, I mean, the little part that's broken away is what's getting mended. So yeah, the casting could get like 1 or 2 holes, maybe.
Well, and they're gonna talk for a while, so I'm gonna take the book and do my thing.
Okay. Are you going to do it appropriately, or are you going to hose them? Or are you going to give them more land, which would be keeping the stakes where they're at now?
No, I would put it where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
Corvus will know if I do it.
Was Corvus, was your intent to be like, here's I'm letting you make the decision,
Yeah.
knowing full well that
Yep.
she might? Okay. So
Yep.
I'm going to say, because you guys have known each other, you know that he's intentionally giving you the leeway because he trusts you to, based on what they're thinking. Like, there's a silent communication between the two of you of, you see kind of how they're treating the land, and Corvus recognizes that and goes, here, I will let you dole the punishment if you feel it's fit. So there's not as much of the, Corvus will know. Corvus does know, and he's giving you the leeway. You get the decision to make.
You get to be judge, jury, and executioner.
And Corvus, you do
I will
know.
give them the barren rock.
Okay. Corvus, you do know that in the town, the entire dock district also belonged to the Scarnettis, as well as a plot of land up by the Old Light, which was supposed to be a lumber mill. It was also run by the Scarnetti. So they have 2 other large plots of land within the mainland of Sandpoint as well. And Keshi,
so,
you know that too, looking at the paperwork.
While Keshi is doing this,
Okay.
I'm just so. What are your plans with your 3 plots?
Well, we hope to reassess the family businesses that were in the area. The lumber was quite profitable up until Titus relinquished his hold. And I'm sure the shipyard, being in charge of the shipyard, was a great boon to our family as well, managing all the incoming and outgoing ships in the area and all of the mercantile trade. But right now, our goal is to reassess a home and a place to live for survival in this area, and then bring supplies in and hope to make a place, at least a dock for a ship to land for supplies, especially to unload and reload the area here. We're going to need supplies. We're going to need wood shipped in order to rebuild until we can get some loggers in to reassess our logging distributions.
Well, good news, bad news. There is a town less than 2 hours wagon ride from here.
Oh.
That already has a lumber mill up and running, so you don't have to worry about really setting up your own. You can help commerce along and just buy what is already being cut for your house. Or perhaps there might be property in this town more suitable to build on, and I kind of like tap on the hard stone that you can't drive a metal stake into, that's more hospitable. If you have a map of the local area, I could easily show you where this town is.
He shows you an older map of the Sandpoint area, but more directly next to Sandpoint. It only goes about halfway to Biston's Pond.
Okay.
And it kind of just outlines the land holdings roughly. So you do notice that they have an area staked out when you're looking at the map. That's rough. They don't know the actual land markers, so they're just hoping like this is where it is. If the other neighbors don't come to claim it, then we're just going to claim it as ours. So
Yep.
It wasn't like they were trying to screw it over, but because they don't know, at least they could assume that they could make that claim if
Yeah.
they wanted to. But that's all the area, the location that they have. You can also make a sense motive, Corvus.
Only a 12.
Okay. Yeah, he looks concerned a little bit about there being another logger in the area, but that's about it.
Okay.
Like he's like, oh, well, I'll probably have to go there and speak with them about this, considering we had the rights to the whole hinterlands for logging. As a
Yeah,
family.
that doesn't work when with natural catastrophes. It's as if a volcano had erupted and destroyed a city. You don't always automatically get what you had.
Well, the
And
hinterlands aren't destroyed, just the city.
True,
Our
but
contracts over the hinterlands should still stand intact.
I get to decide that though.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
That's why I'm
hopefully you can
here.
put right what has gone wrong.
Um, See, I'm a little concerned as I look at Keshi moving the stakes that you might not have the best commerce in mind. You might not want to see communities that have already thriving continue to thrive.
Well, we can't do it on our own. We have to rebuild the entire city of Sandpoint. And I assumed I was going to be doing it on my own backs and on my own dime.
I know your family is wealthy, but I do not think you are that wealthy. You are not a Jagari.
Well, I had hoped
So,
that if we could build the shipyard for places to land and dock overnight and spend time here, that would help bring in the other people to rebuild Sandpoint. It was a start. That was my plan. We know that many ships stop here if for no other reason, just to rest. And if there's a town
yes,
south of here, all the better.
it is a great resting spot. My concern is really the stability.
Oh, we lost someone.
Oh, we lost Aubrey.
Yeah, she mentioned she had to reboot.
Oh, yep. Computer is just, oh, yep. Go Windows.
Oh, well, I can't do that.
Oh, what is that? Hold on, let me look at my bigger screen.
I thought I had it set up for one less person.
Oh,
But apparently I do not. So we're just gonna have to go with the offset. Or actually I can just you can pull it up on my Or we can just take a break if we guys want.
We were doppelgangers all along.
Let's go to a break. We'll call it a break until she gets back, and then we can continue with this conversation.
works.
Sounds good. We'll be right back, guys. Please stick around through the break. We'll see you in a few. Contemplation about the others in the room and their responses, regardless of what his answer is.
As in, he's concerned about what his response will be because of the people in the room.
Yes.
I kill everybody else in the room.
And as I'm doing it, I hold Tango out on one hand, and I just think to him, or I say in Dinosaur, like King of the World, as we like, and then I like get off like nothing happened.
That's funny. Nick's chuckling at it. Nick probably makes some sort of like, this isn't Titanic. Paint me like one of your French girls, Matt. Let's get this battle underway. We're going down. Get down, biddle-lip, jungle boogie.
He just side eyes you and looks at Arabella and says, of all the places you wanted to fucking teleport us, you brought us right in front of the king's nose.
Yeah, because I have to warn the fucking king. So you should probably leave. Go slink off into your little hole. And maybe warn your people.
He looks like he's about to punch you.
There is a 1,000-year-old dragon burning down a city with over 100 giants right now. I don't have time.
Remember, the only reason that any of that worked back there is because of me.
Yeah. Do you want a prize?
So you see that guy shows up and swings at you, and it scrapes across your armor as you cast your spell.
Go mithril breastplate, bitch.
It is Toivo's turn. Toivo appears, closes his eyes as you explain what's going on, turns its head to look at, or to its head so it's facing the Hound of Tyndalos. So Matt and Brian, you hear the cat just growl real low and dangerous. Nick, you hear meow meow, I can smell you, meow meow meow. Roll your attacks.
So Brianna took part in a nightmare ritual as a child.
Yes.
You feel one of them being activated in the museum.
Okay.
Brianna, I'd like you to make a concentration check to maintain your casting of the spell.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I will treat this as violent motion because this is violent to your emotions.
And I apologize. Remind me again what I'm rolling. My
Your
charisma ability modifier, or
This
is it
is a concentration check.
Somebody redeem a complication quick.
my
So it's a
apologies?
Has redeemed
Yes!
a complication.
It is a d20 plus your caster level plus your ability modifier.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the hope in case there's a bad roll. We're all together.
Yes, it's probably a good call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do you want to roll for them? We
I mean, we might as well do it official.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah,
I
I'll have
can't
you
roll.
each do one. I'll let you guys choose who does the players and who does the NPCs.
Yeah, Brian, you want to roll for us or them?
I'm gonna roll for us because I don't want to. I don't want to kill the NPCs. Okay. shit.
I am sorry, I am trying to be helping, but...
What happened to Trinia?
She just disappeared.
I did...
We lost the kid.
I am not understanding. She just got hit by one of those raisins. She disappeared. She is gone.
And Arabella said I turned to stone?
You were a statue. Welcome back.
You know what? I just give him a hug. A big chalky hug.
Okay.
This is not the time!
For generations, the town of Sandpoint stood as a beacon along the Verizian coast, a place of trade, of community, heroes, and resilience. But Sandpoint was no stranger to hardship. It's endured goblin raids, Chelish invasion. It survived threats rising from ancient Thassalon. It's faced devastation from flood and tsunami. Time and time again, Sandpoint endured. Until now. Because this time, Sandpoint did not survive. It did not fall. It was not destroyed. It was not conquered. It simply vanished, leaving behind nothing but strange basalt flats. Gone from the face of the earth, leaving questions, rumors, and a growing sense of unease across all of Verizia.
All right, Majenko flies over. Labrisa, I've got you!
Can he do a flyby heal?
Sure.
Get out! Get out! No!
Sure, he'll go right there.
Oh. Doesn't look like it on our side.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that prepared. He is going to. Oh, he can. He's gonna unload one of his most powerful spells at all of you.
Fuck.
Magic missile.
Kill.
You can read that there is a contemplation about the others in the room and their responses, regardless of what his answer is.
As in, he's concerned about what his response will be because of the people in the room.
Yes.
I kill everybody else in the room.
And as I'm doing it, I hold Tango out on one hand, and I just think to him, or I say in Dinosaur, like King of the World, as we like, and then I like get off like nothing happened.
That's funny. Nick's chuckling at it. Nick probably makes some sort of like, this isn't Titanic. Hit me like one of your French girls, Matt. Let's get this battle underway. We're going down. Get down, get down. Jungle boogie.
He just side-eyes you and looks at Arabella and says, of all the places you wanted to fucking teleport us, you brought us right in front of the king's nose.
Yeah, because I have to warn the fucking king. So you should probably leave. Go slink off into your little hole. And maybe warn your people.
He looks like he's about to punch you.
There is a 1,000-year-old dragon burning down a city with over 100 giants right now. I don't have time.
Remember, the only reason that any of that worked back there is because of me.
Yeah. Do you want a prize?
So you see that guy shows up and swings at you, and it scrapes across your armor as you cast your spell.
Go mithril breastplate, bitch.
It is Toivo's turn. Toivo appears, closes
All
his
right,
eyes
we
as you
got things
explain what's
mostly
going
fixed
on,
and set up.
turns-
We'll be able to continue here. I believe everybody's in the same spot. I think Aubrey, you were in the last location on the Zoom call anyhow, so and nothing has changed on my end, so I don't have to reassign faces to squares.
Nice. Auto worked. Cool.
So yeah, you tell that you to reassess. You're talking with the two Scarnettis, and you're establishing like you're in charge of assigning what happens to what by power of both Korvosa and Magnimar, and whatever they say doesn't necessarily go. And so any contracts they had, and here's the other thing, Corvus, you spoke with the owners of the lumber mill, and the lumber mill owner, if you'd recall, had told you that they were given the Scarnetti contract from the Scarnettis. It was sold to them. They now own that contract for the Sandpoint hinterlands. That is their contract. And they have the paperwork for it, and you no doubt believe that they could produce that if needed. So just as a reminder, in case you as Matt forgot.
I did forget that. So I'll be like, also, and the unfortunate thing with Titus or whoever took over after Titus died or left, I'm not sure how that all worked out, but did sell off some of the family's stakes in rights. I know that then I pull out my notes for the lumber mill.
Yeah, for Jord.
And be like, it is Jord is the one that runs the lumber mill, and he had purchased the rights to harvest wood from the forest. Not only that, but he has worked on negotiations with the Fae that live in the Mosswood. And they have an agreement of trade with the First World, and work with them on what wood to harvest. It is a very interesting negotiations that he worked with the Fae of the woods. But yeah, I would definitely.
So we could use that land for something other than lumber then.
Yes.
We wouldn't have to reestablish that. We could find other trades that would better suit, perhaps. And he looks at the land, perhaps mining. He looks at the stone.
Yeah,
whatever will help the town, he says. You let me know what you think would be best suited for us to utilize our lands for as far as trade and commerce go.
How could I make a knowledge local to see kind of how tied in the family is to the two cities?
Sure.
Wow, 23 with my nobility.
Matt, you can use your own knowledge.
Okay. Now I'm trying to. Are they tied into both cities or only Magnimar?
They are tied mostly into Magnimar, but they do have a few ties in. They have ties in both Riddleport and Korvosa.
Okay.
They have a lot of business ties. They're a very powerful, noble family across the board in Varizia.
Okay.
There's also suggestions that they have ties to the wandering trade folk known as the Scarni. There is rumor that they also have ties to those people who travel and trade amongst multiple towns. You know, they go to this town and then they go to this town and trade, and then they go to this town, and they're kind of like wandering travelers and merchants and entertainers and all kinds of stuff. Some people label them as like criminals as well. But like there's every community has criminals.
Yeah. Okay.
but mostly Magnimar.
Okay. And I just want to pull up a map quick of Arisia. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have one too if you want to look at it.
I just
Right.
wanted to see which city is closer.
Magnimar.
Okay, Magnimar is
Magnimar is way
very
closer.
way
to-
closer than Korvosa. Okay.
way
Yeah,
closer.
yeah.
Which is where the argument another point of the argument is.
Okay. And they are mostly out of Magnimar. Okay, cool. You can switch the map back then.
Okay.
Just wanted
For those
to-
that are watching, Sandpoint is way the hell down here. And there's Magnimar right next to it. Sandpoint, Magnimar, and then way over here. Ah, too fast. Way over here is Korvosa. And it's not super far, but in comparison, like Windsog Abbey is just as far as Magnimar.
Yeah, I mean the Korvosa is like 600 miles away versus 40 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Well,
yeah, huge difference.
60, 70 miles. 60-ish, give or take. But yeah. For sure.
Okay. Like mining or what I think, I mean, honestly, what would be the best way to have this city, this region prosper is having the area that was known as Sandpoint being a area for ships to load and unload. Yes. Something defensible. Yes. But really widening the river, connecting this town to the one south of here, and almost having them be sister cities, a symbiotic relationship, would be the best for the dual communities and the prosperity of everyone that has coin in the pot. Now, how the best to do that, I don't know. If this was all granite or marble, something that wasn't littered with cracks, I would say building back up on this spot would be smart. But I don't know how deep the stone goes. I don't know if you can build on something like this without stuff rising up as the seasons change. I don't know come the winter if these will continue to crack and break apart. I just don't know enough about this stone, but hopefully, and I point to the small images of the dwarves on the other side of the harbor. Hopefully, those that are in my employ can get me more information.
They look over to them. Now you can all make a sense motive.
Wow, apparently I'm not paying attention.
Holly, was the
didn't-
25 this roll, or was that a previous roll?
This roll.
Okay. So Corvus and Keshi. There's a little concern from the sun. There's a clear disdain at the thought of the dwarfs from the mother. For whatever reason. They both do very well at hiding their feelings. Chat has redeemed Game Master Inspiration. Inspiration is different than a reroll. There is a reroll redeem. You can choose the reroll to redeem if you'd like. And I can refund you that. But GM Inspiration is, I give clues that are kind of behind the scenes to the players to use, should they like, which could be very useful here. So, Toasty, it is up to you. What do you mean it's not? Oh, did that not get fixed? There were so many things that weren't working that weren't working. Let me look.
Oh, I see. Give a reroll.
Yeah. Okay.
Now let's see if it works.
You want clues? Chat has redeemed a dice reroll. There we go. So Iska gets a reroll, and Ekhard Shaw gets some insight. Well, everybody gets insight. You don't necessarily have to enter. I mean, you can't enter who. So, Iska gets a reroll.
22 is better.
It is better. You will get most of that same information. You get the idea that they have some sort of disdain towards the dwarves. Rockheim, you don't catch the thing about the dwarves.
Okay.
However, the more you think about it, the more you realize the name Scarnetti had some sort of falling out recently in Riddleport. And you don't catch their disdain for the dwarves, but for some reason the mention of the dwarves and Riddleport and Scarnetti all triggered this backstory in your mind that there was some sort of falling out in Riddleport with someone from the Scarnetti family.
Okay.
And that the Scarnettis are rumored to have left Riddleport in the aftermath. And it's fairly recent. But you do know it has something to do with the dwarves in Riddleport. And you're like, oh yeah, there was something about the thing and the thing and the thing. Yeah, the dwarves reminded me of that. But you don't catch the disdain for the dwarves that the other three catch.
Gotcha. Okay.
That is your GM inspiration, your behind-the-scenes clues given to the player character based on the situation.
Excellent. Okay.
That's the famous Italian Scarnetti crime family. Toasty, it's like Toasty's been watching the old backlog games that don't even exist on YouTube anymore.
I mean, Scarnetti does sound like a mobster name.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to. It's supposed to sound
100%,
like.
Yeah.
1000%.
Corvus, everybody can make a perception as you point out to the dwarves and whatnot.
Whoa.
Only 10.
Iska, Ekhard, and Keshi. You guys all make the roll. Corvus, you do not see it. Iska, Ekhard, and Keshi, you see 5 figures over by the dwarves, not 4.
I lean over to Ekhard and go, where'd the extra one come from?
Oh no, dwarves are like Mogwai. One of them got wet.
Just sprouted another one?
Yep.
No. Those are superstitious rumors or myths from Minkai. Either way, they don't really. I don't believe it applies here.
Ekhard, you beat a 25. You realize it's somebody who is some sort of robed person. Welcome on in, Octavius. Thank you for the lurk.
Someone in robes, perhaps. I mean, they don't appear to be in any sort of like fighting or defensive stance or anything.
No, it's like they're just
that.
chatting.
Okay, so friendly at least.
Yes,
or at least.
Yes.
At this point, Keshi is not only angry at the Scarnettis, but she's a little bit angry at Corvus.
Okay.
So I think
Chat has redeemed Game Master Inspiration.
So I think she would shove his book back in his hands Like, I'm gonna go over there. If you want to come with, you can. To Ekhard and Iska.
And you start walking over to
Or
the
you
other.
can stay here and start talking about widening the river with that one.
We aren't going to widen the river. There's no point.
I look with concern and understanding with Keshi, but at the same point, I don't want to leave Corvus alone with the Scarnettis.
And that's when you realize, Ekhard, that person in the robes is some sort of wizard.
Oh, maybe it's that Myrtle fellow. Maraktis? No, yeah, Maraktis, yeah. Perhaps.
Miles, Maraktis, whoever?
Corvus, you
Some
do hear the
M-word.
conversation, but you don't see anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, you've got you need your glasses. You need to get yourself some spectacles.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
all
like
that looking in the
squinting.
books.
It's all the candlelight, working by candlelight on records. Like all of this allergies are making my eyes hurt.
Yeah, the reflection off of the seawater.
I guess Corvus, since you are the leader of this wondrous circus here, as we figure out what's going on with Sandpoint, is there anything else we need to discuss at this point, or perhaps maybe I can offer to the Scarnettis, we are going to speak with the town council in the nearby Biston's Pond, and since that seems to be the regional governing body at this point, as well as having several people that have, from what we've heard, have survived or transplanted themselves, so to speak, from Sandpoint to rebuild there. Perhaps it might be best to have a discussion with them about the possibilities for this location and what that means for everyone.
Yes, if there are decisions to be made, of course I will make sure to come, myself and my mother. The others will stay here and take care of the area and continue setting up our camp.
Of course.
Just
Would you
come and let us know when you are ready, when you plan on heading back.
Absolutely.
I will. Perhaps if we're lucky enough, I know that ship has some trade to do. They said they're going to try and go upriver to see if there's any farmers there. If there's a small village there, maybe they can do trade at the village.
Yes. Anything to help with the trade is, I think those in the town would appreciate it. A little bit of goodwill.
He nods. Of course, of course. Just let us know when you are ready to go. If we see if we see the ship putting in small boats, then we'll know that they're heading up.
That works. I will. Let me see what I have for if I have any flashy 0th level spells.
Okay.
Well, they're not there. So I have the spells on a different sheet. Cause
widening the river. Bleed. Rolana Halo says bleed. You have the bleed spell?
Oh, terrible. I mean, yes. Yeah, I don't got any flashy 0th level spells, so yeah, we'll just come get them when we head out.
Okay.
And I guess we'll go back over towards the dwarves.
Sounds
and
good.
see what they have discovered.
Yeah.
You approach and you find an older man standing here in gray robes and a simple staff, nothing too fancy. He's got a small little bird on his shoulder, and he looks like this. The weight of time showing on his face, on his body, hunched over his staff. Clearly some sort of wizard or spellcaster. Doesn't seem too... Like, you guys have seen powerful people that carry lots of stuff. Ekhard, you've been to the academy. This guy is probably some lower level wizard. Lower stature of knowledge and learning wizard. Either that or he hides it well, one of the two. And you see him talking to the dwarves. And Larry and the other one as well. They're all chatting like they're friends.
We go say hello.
Okay. You approach. And they don't necessarily notice you get up close right away. How would you guys like to let them know your arrival? Just kind of cough at them?
Yeah.
They all pause and they turn. I saw you cough. I didn't hear you. Your microphone was like, oh, this isn't a sound we want to project, and tried to cover it up. Try to suppress it.
Funny. Go technology.
So they all stop and look at you. He's like, You see the older gentleman is like, my name is Miles. I heard you've been looking for me.
Oh my gosh, yes, have we ever. There is a woman in Biston's Pond who has a child she claims is yours, and she is desperate to find you.
Can you tell me more?
She and her son escaped from Nidal. He has magical abilities.
They're trying to avoid...
You can make a sense motive.
Yes, please.
Nope.
Nope.
Holy crap! I did good.
Do we all get that?
Yeah, you can all roll a sense motive.
Yeah, but I'm just happy that I did good because, quite frankly, I've been rolling really crappy for the sense motive. I finally got one. Anyway.
So, all of you succeed. Across the board. He is both shocked and a little afraid. And because it registered, like, he sits there, and when you say Nidal, that's when it registers, the lights turn on, and he's like, oh. That is possible, he says. There is a possibility. We were...
well, I mean, pretty much a certainty as far as the child having magic potential.
No, it being related to me in any way, shape, or form. I was in Nidal briefly during a large magical ceremony, we'll say.
And my apologies for being, and if perhaps this is too personal a question, but when you say related, do you mean as in blood relation?
It could be my child. It is quite possible.
I see.
I mean, she's well and truly convinced that it's yours, so...
I would be as well, especially if he has any kind of magic. And it would make sense that she would flee
If it helps
especially
at
if
all,
they found out.
we already put in a good word to the headmaster Eli about the child, should they decide to enroll him in the school. From what Eli said, it sounded like he had also had connections with I believe he said the name Maraktis. Brian might be saying that wrong, but I think Eli mentioned Maraktis.
Round of sense motives, everyone.
Did I get that right though? I don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iska is not doing well on this one.
Yeah, this isn't a sense motive for Miles. This is a sense motive for the others there. So Corvus, Keshi, you don't really get anything from him because like he's not trying to hide anything. He just he like the look on his face is of understanding. But the other four are confused, but confused in a way because they're like, this is that like they all like point at him, or some of them point at him because that is also him. Like, so you realize at that moment that when you say, mention Maraktis, they look confused because they're like, you're talking, that's who you're talking to. Do you not know? It's kind of the look. So you guys, those of you who, Keshi and Corvus, you recognize that. Iska and Ekhard, you don't catch that.
My apologies. I guess I didn't know you go by several names.
Again, Ekhard, you do not get the sense motive. You didn't catch that, so you don't know.
Oh, okay.
Only Keshi and Corvus catch it.
I don't think it needs to be mentioned right now, so I won't say anything of it.
Okay.
But yes, you should be able to find her. She is staying at the, and I give the name of the inn that she's staying at.
I will go to town immediately after my meeting with you folk.
Have you? Would she be able to recognize you? And then I'll like try to give a description of her, because some people, they look young until suddenly like they're old, and this boy was what, like 5 to 8, so he could have looked a lot younger and 8 years ago.
He goes, she will, I'm no doubt, recognize me. I vaguely remember her in the haze of magic. In the haze of compulsion magic, I vaguely do remember her.
On a different note or subject, admittedly, part of our reasons for being here and assisting Corvus with his audit of Sandpoint, as it were, is to find out more about what happened here. How did this place change?
He holds up his finger. He holds up his finger. He's like, "What do you mean an audit of this place?" And he looks at you, Corvus. After Ekhard says that, he looks to you, Corvus.
The Bank of Abadar has tasked me with finding out what happened to the city and what to do with the lands. There are parties, and I like point across the bay, that want to reclaim family land.
He nods.
And want to Magnimar and Korvosa want to know what has happened to the city that both of them believe that they have helped. So I'm here to figure out what happened and what can be done. I mean, obviously there are no houses left, but there is land or stone. But some people want to resettle roots that their families had placed here.
I see. And if I'm to understand, you are the final judge and jury of the situation, yes?
Yes.
And this one is your guardian? He looks to you, Keshi.
Expert on nature, and also protector if I get attacked on the road.
We can use more like her around here.
Well, and perhaps after we've sat down with the council and had a few discussions about possible plans for the area, we may be able to assist you with that.
And he looks at the two of you. Janai, you remember how you saw the eyes of Eli earlier?
Yeah.
Very, very similar. This calm, almost weak presence, the eyes almost give him away as he looks over the two of you and goes, and you're hoping to find how the two of you can come out ahead in this deal? And he looks at you like he knows something.
I mean, I would be lying to say that our interests were purely, what's the word I'm thinking of? Brain fart.
Charitable?
Charitable, but admittedly, we want to see your town and ultimately this region prosper.
And if we benefit from that, then hooray. And if we can... Seems like people here don't really like Magnimar and Korvosa, so maybe we can be an intermediary and keep the
a
cities...
buffer, if you will.
Keep those cities out of the town's business, so to speak.
I think it's less of not liking them and more of that of the feelings of an abandoned child.
I did get that sense, yes.
I am certain that if they actually would put as much into the area as they took out of it, then the locals would be less upset.
Well, and perhaps,
however,
it is our guiding hand that will help them to do that.
Yeah, we figure we should start as a buffer.
He nods. I appreciate your time and your representation of Magnimar and Korvosa. And he goes, Corvus, may I shake your hand?
Yes. Put my hand out.
You shake his hand and you feel the break of the illusion that is covering him to see what Maraktis actually looks like.
Nidalee, trick!
You can see the youth, you can see the strength, you can see his stature changes.
Okay.
You see the creature on his shoulder is that of some sort of pseudo dragon, much like the ones that you often see in town, although it does look strangely different, enough so that you can realize it's not an actual pseudo dragon, but something that is there to represent, to look like them, to an eye that wouldn't know any better. But as a person who has been to Korvosa, and now here, you know the difference between a house drake and a pseudo dragon, and you also know that this is neither of them, but is meant to fool people who would think otherwise.
Okay.
And he is obviously a bit more powerful than he was putting on. You also know that interacting with him is what broke the illusion, which is why he offered to shake your hand. He wanted you to break the illusion.
Okay.
He goes, how would you like, Corvus, more insight than you would ever have expected coming here?
I would love all of the insight that I could get. Insight, but also information like tax records, how much was sent to the cities, if the cities have done their part of the compact to make sure that there is militia and guardsmen.
He nods. He's like, if you and your protector would come with me, Ekhard Iska, would you please protect the fort here and keep an eye on those across the waterways, if you would?
Sure.
Thank you very much. And Ekhard and Iska, you just see all three of them vanish.
Okay.
Corvus and Keshi, you see, he looks at the two of you and he goes, if you would please hold out your hands.
Hold up my hand.
Okay.
Now I'm going to tell you something, and this is very official. If you agree to come with me, Abadarian, you must swear on your life that you do not repeat this to your superiors, anything that you say, and you only use this to aid in your judgment, and do not pass the information that you see along to your superiors on your oath to your church.
Sense motive him. Just
You
to
can
try to get a glimpse of his character.
Yeah.
Because that's like a big ask.
Yep.
25.
He is being 100% honest. You also know that he is the savior, one of the saviors of Sandpoint. He has saved this town more than anyone else. He would only have Sandpoint and Biston's Pond's best interests at heart from the very beginning. And he is showing you this because he trusts you, which is why he isn't letting Ekhard and Iska come with, and he trusts Keshi because of her ties to nature. Okay. No role needed because he wants you to know.
Okay. Then I will agree.
He goes, Keshi, on your honor of protecting the natures of this land, which is what I hope for the most, I hope you will also agree to this. I do not know what stakes you have in holding agreements and holding bonds, but I only hope that you, much like your friend, would honor my request in hopes to do the best for what you believe is at stake for Sandpoint.
Yeah.
He nods. It's at this moment that you realize nothing is moving. The trees aren't swaying. The birds are stuck in midair. The water isn't washing ashore. Everything is dead silent as you disappear. You find yourself in the town of Sandpoint as you remember it.
Like time magic?
He goes,
illusions?
No. There's an extraplanar dimension, much like when you pushed a chocolate ice cream against a vanilla ice cream. You will see the vanilla on the chocolate and the chocolate on the vanilla. A plane of existence touched down in Sandpoint. It dropped off what it had and picked up what was there. It was meant to save the city of Sandpoint as it was, and save an entire interdimensional existence, filled with beings from all over the world. The people of Sandpoint cannot leave, for the most part, and very few people can enter. This is what happened. If the world knew, it would be bad. If this place were found out, it could unravel, it could disrupt existence. There was a cataclysm that was about to hit Sandpoint. This was the only option that the person that owns this place had to save it. The reason I've asked you to keep it a secret is because the world can't know of such a place and such a power. But the people that lived and live in Sandpoint are here. You can ask them your questions. The people that ran things are here and alive and well. They just sadly can't leave, and most of them understand this. Most of them know the sacrifice that is what it was to have lived and to save not only their home and their families, but those that are here that they are now tied to within this extra-dimensional space. The leader of the town, her name is Shara. She will be joining us shortly to speak with you. She took over for, I believe, a man named Titus Scarnetti. And also, eventually, after this situation occurred, became the de facto leader of the city of Sandpoint after this planar rift. Is this the answers you were hoping for?
Yes. May I have a few seconds to check something?
Of course.
I'm gonna cast Ears of the City.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure, because like if it's an illusion, there won't be
you won't get anything. You won't get anything. Yeah.
So, and like we know he is a powerful wizard.
Correct.
So I want to make I want to
yeah, Ears of the City is gonna be awesome.
Yep.
Ears of the City confirms fucking everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Like, so the city is not lost. Everyone that owned or had property still has it.
Correct. However, the real world can't account for that, and you can't tell them that.
Yep.
But you also know that most of the city, like, they knew about Biston's Pond because many of them had lived there. There was a cohesive existence between the two. Mm-hmm. They were starting to grow back together because Sandpoint had died so much so that it was almost what Biston's Pond is now.
Mm-hmm.
You do you have any specific questions that you'd like to ask of the town? I'm not going to have you roll.
Knowing that the town is still here and that the rightful owners are owning everything and it's still a community means that in Corvus's mind that the wilderness is the wilderness. Nobody owns it. So I think Corvus is going to look at Keshi as well as Miles and be like, so the wilderness is what it is. The city, while it lost, deeds and community are still in place. So the question is what faults can we find in the rock, in the water, in the air that came with it to make it inhospitable for people to live in and sit as it is? For nobody owns the deed to that land. And the cities, at least from everything that I have seen, have not given to Sandpoint to maintain it. Sandpoint had to make their own militia. From what I talked to of the Dwarven brothers, they created the arms and armor to outfit the militia, paid for by a Han.
The wizard smiles. It's like, I was there when they formed it.
So neither Magnimar or Korvosa have a claim anymore to the wilderness that has retaken it. But my work cannot keep other people from trying to claim it. But if there is something wrong, if there is a haunting, if there is a way to keep people out as to why it cannot be built upon.
You see a woman approaches the group. Aubrey, would you describe Shara to the audience and to the players?
Yeah, Shara is gosh, she looks at least half drow. She's got the darker skin tone, the shock white hair. But she doesn't quite I think she doesn't quite look real. Either she looks too real or not real. And you're not quite sure as you're looking at her which it is. And every time you like try to scrutinize, she just looks very solidly, absolutely,
Real.
exactly what you would expect. Humanoid, half drow. She's dressed pretty plainly in spite of the fact that I think it's clear that she has the means to be dressed in more finery than she chooses. But she doesn't currently carry any obvious weapons. And walking at her side is a extremely large cat, roughly the size of a medium-sized dog, whose fur is patterned as if it reflects the night sky, even though it is presently not night.
And you see Maraktis gives you a hug.
Yeah. Hi, Maraktis.
Hello. I've brought some people that have come to seek knowledge on the history of Sandpoint.
Okay. What
They
sort
are-
of knowledge?
Corvus, Keshi, this is Shara. She is in charge of the city of Sandpoint. She is the inheritor of the Scarnetti family lines within the city of Sandpoint.
Quite annoying.
Is she on any of the records that I have?
Yes,
Oh yeah, she is on the one.
she is.
I hate that.
There were questions about authenticity, but you have official records. It was written in.
Okay.
That she runs the docks. She runs the docks. She owns the manor, and she runs the Scarney estates within the Sandpoint hinterlands. She does not. You do not have paperwork that she runs any kind of lumbering industry, but she has lands that are for a lumbering property. So that would probably confirm the fact, like, she has lumbering stuff, but she doesn't have records of owning the lumberyard, which means she probably sold it off.
That works.
It wasn't in her interests.
So what I hear that the people here are trapped, which is sad, but everyone here was, I pull out like the paperwork, like we could go to look at one of the houses, look at the records, and the family, so forth and so on, still lives there with their working as cobblers.
Correct.
Um,
There are a few establishments that probably don't align with your records anymore, but very few.
Obviously, with weird trade and the weird way things are working, like they have to shift. But they still survive amongst the other planar existences.
Right. And like the Pixie's Kitten isn't currently run by Tam, right?
Talent.
I
didn't do it! I didn't do it!
You did. You got it right.
I did it last time.
It started with a T.
That's what I said. See?
Yeah.
I don't feel bad anymore. I felt bad last time.
No, don't feel bad.
Hey, I got Shara right, though.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Especially considering Jania's on the screen, because that's your username.
Yep.
So everything in the town of Sandpoint is settled.
Yes.
So there is no Sandpoint anymore. There is a stone point. That's where this city was. I need to figure out what is to happen with Stone Point.
Stone Point, huh? Well, at least
There is no sand. and it will
Yes.
take much, much grinding to return it to its sandy shores that it once had.
I mean, Stone Point rolls off the tongue a little bit better than Basalt Point.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the connection between, from someone that is from this town directly, between this town and the town on the other end of the river, south of the Devil's Platter?
I mean, I feel like Maraktis could answer that for you. But
He's not
Yes.
he's not asking me.
I know. I mean,
Keep
I
in
feel
mind,
like
Corvus, that Shara also helped found that town and lived there in the tower.
it's true.
Yes, but Shara's name is not on the town.
No, because it wasn't my tower.
Maraktis doesn't know.
Yep.
Does Corvus say that?
Yeah.
He's like, the town doesn't. I mean, he's like, I technically own the lands, but. Right, I own the land that the tower is on, but I don't. I mean, the name's not on the town.
But you have definitely a stronger connection to that town than this one, as Shara is here. I'm assuming her connection is with Sandpoint.
Yes.
So I want to know if Biston's Pond was never around, would Sandpoint has continued to be as prosperous as it was?
I believe it still would have ended up here, regardless of Biston's Pond creation or not.
Oh, did it end up here?
Maraktis goes, as I said, 2 planes touched each other and transferred
Cosmic
areas.
powers. Yeah, it was a cosmic event.
You make it sound like baby making.
It's realizes realizes the sentiment, goes, it's very similar, in fact. Life and death. From what I understand.
Did they exchange lands? Did a new one become created?
They exchanged points in space in order to save the city of Sandpoint with something that could withstand the impact of the damages that were coming.
Yes.
The entire city of Sandpoint would have been wiped out had the planar existence transfer not happened.
Wiped out.
Corvus, to answer your question you've been asking the townfolk in Biston Pond, it would have been a natural disaster, much like you've been saying, much like a volcano. This happened instead.
I am not a...
Which tells you he knows that what you guys have been asking somehow in the town.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird.
I mean, I have access to a very low-level spell that lets me figure stuff out. I'm assuming he probably has that same thing and could find out.
Yeah, he used out of character. He used absolutely no magic. I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you guys later how. What you'll find out. You'll find out.
So treating it like a natural disaster and not being able to tell about Sandpoint being here. What type of natural disaster could cause basalt pillars to rise up, destroying the town above that could be washed away in a I heard it was a big tidal wave. So if something could cause the basalt to rise up, destroying everything, and to the tidal wave washing it out into the sea, but what phenomenon could that be? What term could I use?
Blame it on Gazra. Or Gazrai.
Keshi, roll your knowledge nature.
14.
You understand that shifts in the earth are tied to tidal waves. I was hoping you'd roll like an at 20 and get something fantastic and I'd give you some cool, really cool stuff, but it's still good. It's good enough to know that like the shifting of the earth and earthquakes can also cause tsunamis and tidal waves. Which you also know that is also related to things like lava and whatnot.
Okay, I'll share that information.
Maraktis nods his head, goes, yes, tectonic plates underneath the Galarian surface move and shift and collide.
And I like start writing that down in my journal.
They can cause eruptions in stone, fragments, mountains, in fact, are formed by these tectonic plate shifts. Most don't know about it. There are some
areas
wizards
like
and
that
geographers.
unstable.
They can be.
Like,
much like any place that has earthquakes.
If something was rebuilt, who knows how long before it just be destroyed again by another one of these tectonic plate shifting.
Potentially.
Indeed.
But if any scholars look into it, they would tell you that this doesn't make sense given the geography, as there are no tectonic plates in the area. But otherwise, yes, you could say that if you'd like.
As I said, blame it on a nature god. You can't really, go against the gods.
Blaming it on a
This-
cosmic event, a divine intervention, cosmic divine intervention is likely the best option.
Write that down as well.
I would, however, when Thassalon lived here in Sandpoint, they put a large amount of strength into their military forces here. The location known as the Old Light, which still exists and did not come across in the transfer, still exists there. The ruined towers was once a grand weapon of destruction. It wasn't... I've done research and realized it wasn't there. And he looks at Shara, who doesn't know this. Shara, I've realized this within the last year or so, that it was meant for something else. Not to destroy other things, but to defend Sandpoint. I have a theory that civilization is protecting whatever is there. There is a chance that civilization needs to be there to protect whatever the Thessalonians were guarding.
Do you suspect that it needs to be on the exact point that Sandpoint was on? Or will Biston's Pond suffice?
It's on that point.
Of course it is.
I have reason to believe that there are other factors at work with all of the issues, all of the tragedies that would consistently transpire on Sandpoint in that specific location, from natural, mundane to invasions.
I mean, admittedly, it's been much calmer since it's been here, so it makes sense.
But also the basalt might be protecting whatever is there as well. I don't know. Civilization could have been there to protect something, or the basalt might be stopping whatever is causing the issues now. But that is information that I have learned about the Thessalonians, that they were protecting something in that location.
Interesting. So it sounds like our friend Corvus here should perhaps encourage not scraping away the basalt that is there.
Unless they choose to put civilization there, at which case you would still have some basalt. I'm assuming you would flatten it and keep the basalt as the base, since it is very strong. It's much like marble. In some stakes, stronger than marble and more safe if you build upon it. It would make a great structure for doing so. Would give you a great base. They're also flat inherently. It would be easy to flatten out. And you would still have the basalt underneath. You would have no underground tunnels, no previous buildings, no previous structures, nothing from the history and past that was once there, should you choose to build. And if you choose not to build and allow it to be nature, well, I'm sure Gazray would not mind.
Indeed. I'm sure the nature spirits of the area would appreciate the break.
Short of the unnaturalness that is that entire section now anyhow, but nothing can be done about it.
Yes.
Would you like to speak to anyone else in town? We have some time.
No, I think I gathered what I needed from my spell. However, if there's anybody, do the people, I'm assuming the people in Biston's Pond do not know about what is here either.
They can't. They would want them all to come back, or they would want to go there. They would want travel, and it is nigh impossible. I only have access because of the plane's permission to give it to me once a month.
It is a bit tricky, yes. Which is an understatement.
I come just to visit and keep information from the outside world to those that are here, because the people that are here, they understand where they are at.
And some of them still have family outside. They want to hear.
I'm sure some of the people that have family here would like their family to take their lands back in Sandpoint as well, but that is your decision to make.
Like, what about you, Shara? You do not appear like any other Scarnetti that I have met. What?
To be extraordinarily blunt, fuck the Scarnettis. I do not have a vested interest in the land that has been left behind. As someone who communicates with nature spirits, I would encourage leaving the land alone unless, as Maraktis says, there must be civilization to protect whatever is there. However, not my call. I'm here. With Sandpoint, my duty is to these people and this land.
Are there any other communities? Like, what lived on this land when it was in this place?
In this exact spot? Nothing.
Nothing lived here, no spirits, no fae, no creatures of the plains of Earth?
No, not in this spot.
Corvus, you can make a sense motive. Keshi, you can also make a sense motive if you'd like.
A 20.
Keshi, you can use your hunter, your ranger's bonus on this, because it is pertaining specifically to the nature and land.
$13.
Keshi, you don't get a lot. Corvus, one thing stands out to you. How would Shara know what was here before? If she wasn't here, if she was in Sandpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing that stands out in her statement to you.
Like, yeah, so I will you were not here before that. I mean, how do you know that there was nothing living there? I mean, were there nearby communities that you've been able to reach out to? Or
Yes. There are other pockets, I guess I would call them, not too far off, that have been able to confirm that there was nothing here.
From what Maraktis steps in, from what I understand, what is in Sandpoint now is what was here.
Yes.
so if there would have been anything living, it would have already been here.
Yes.
Hmm.
Aside from things like fish and insects that you might have seen while in Sandpoint.
Right.
Now, I must say that just outside of Sandpoint, there is an open portal that was once open to the plane of water that allowed a lot of sea life to come in and has helped aid in the support structure of the combined waters between both the ocean and the water. If you've seen a strange displacement of water, it's due to the once open portal to the plane of water that existed outside of Sandpoint, in case you were curious.
That is good to know.
But the wildlife should be sustained. I've done my best to make sure that they don't die off in their new ecology.
Ah, that is your doing.
My wife was a druid before she passed away many years ago.
Ah,
She was in charge of the small woods outside of Sandpoint.
do you know of any other druids or people that could? I don't know, are there druids that watch lands from other planes? Someone that we could get to watch over Stone Point to
The Fae could move in there should nature reclaim it, moving from the forest that my wife once dwelled in. If that forest were to grow northward, the Fae could protect the area. But that wouldn't stop civilization for wanting to claim it. I'm sure those people that have moved in right now and are planting stakes are going to have a vested interest, and if even whatever you decide, I'm sure courts and stuff in years to come, people will want to resettle, even if the lands are claimed vacant long after life and death.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, we could look to move the Fae that direction.
My concern is leaving the stone there as a protector from whatever Basilon has underneath the lighthouse or a civilization there. Who knows when the next Eye of the Midago will open and could wipe out a civilization. If that's what we are using to protect it, that can be disrupted by drought, famine, plague, even a wildfire. The stone is there.
He nods.
It is permanent.
Until it's mined.
Well, that is why I was hoping there was something that, some instability, something that is there to either protect the land or there to keep it whole.
I would suggest taking Maraktis' idea of letting the Fae move in then. They would certainly be possessive enough to keep it from being mined.
Perhaps.
And since, Sandpoint technically still exists, if you're worried about the legalities of it. Nobody has claim on that land that's there.
Yes, but people will claim it.
And people
Sure.
can't know what happened here.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
So they
But-
won't know. They will, from their point of view, that land is right there. Their land is right there.
Yeah, it's not the same land. So you could make them purchase it again. Abadarian.
That is true. The problem is we're going to have two cities vying for that money. Two cities that do not, in my opinion, deserve that money. Much
Well.
to think about.
It is
Do you know
all-
what time it is back home, Maraktis?
Shara, you get a question mentally
Yeah.
asking if time is passing here at the rate of space on the prime material.
Rolana's our guest GM.
We'll
Rolana!
be right back.
Rolana, how much time has passed in the plane on the real world outside of thousands of years?
I'd say no more than a week.
No more than a week. Rolana Halo, our guest GM of thine first of the redemption.
You may choose how much time is passing. Could be seconds.
Could be instantaneous. Or it could be
Could be 1 for 1.
up, it could be 1 for 1, it could be up to a week. Heck, I would even say that they could return earlier than they left.
That would be hilarious.
That
I
would
like
be
that idea.
wild.
Rolana Halo gets the decision for claiming the guest GM spot. 1 of 3.
She's having a hard time deciding.
Right? It is
don't
a
blame her.
difficult venture.
Yeah. They arrived yesterday. Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, Rolana.
Maraktis says, the rules of this plane are as such that you will arrive yesterday. Or give or
Exciting.
take. In the morning of the day prior.
So if we stay a full day here, plus a couple of hours will appear a little bit after we left. Or will it always be yesterday?
It will always be at that point in time, right now, as this plane is existing from what I can see. And he pulls out like he pulls out like a little device and he clicks it open and he looks at it. He's like, yes, we're stationary at yesterday at approximately 9 a.m. Currently, regardless of what time we leave. That could shift between now and any time you stay here, but it shouldn't be more than within a week either direction. And he closes it up.
We can watch ourselves arrive. The
Cor-
Sandpoint.
You could.
Correct. I would have to hide you so that you don't know.
Yes.
Maraktis, in your head, you
Yes.
hear Shara going, "Do you want me to change it? Or should we let them arrive in yesterday?"
He goes,
Because that-
no,
hilarious.
I think this will be useful for them.
Okay, great. Yesterday it is.
Then I guess to yesterday.
He nods.
It was
Thank you.
delightful to meet you.
Thank you, Shara.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure to see you. Hopefully you can visit again soon. For longer next time, I hope.
I hope so. There's much going on in the world of Galarian.
Of course there is. There never isn't.
I feel like I'm being pulled in every direction these days. He turns to you, Corvus, and he goes, Corvus, currently, in your current mindset, plan to make a port either here or somewhere nearby?
I think a port, if it was 20 years from now, while the river would have naturally widened, traveling a few miles upstream to port in a definite safe harbor of Biston's Pond would be perfect. But that is not a thing. The people in Biston's Pond have said that having a port would be beneficial to them. Just for getting goods in and out. I do not think that the location that was Sandpoint should be rebuilt, but I do not know if there is a better area for a port city to be made. I mean, and that is where I am at a loss.
Maraktis looks at you, Shara.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 folk that would like to come over.
Okay.
I would like to request Caradoc come back to the main world with me to help Corvus in this shipping discussion. Perhaps you could write up some statement stating that you put him in charge of the official shipyards of what is or was Sandpoint and predate it to before the times of Sandpoint's disappearance.
That could easily be arranged. Give me an hour?
And that gives Corvus a representative of yours and this town should a shipping lane be built. Plus, you will have someone who is very familiar with the shipping lanes as well as give information on Chalice shipyard work, Chalice shipping issues.
Yes. Alana, is Grandpa asking for a forgery?
Right?
Yes.
Technically, no. Technically, he's asking just for a formal write-up, just to post, like,
Backdate it.
backdate it.
Which is...
Corvus,
sort of
this
what we're
gentleman
looking for.
is a well-known sailor throughout the world. He also has worked for the Andorans in freeing multiple slavers throughout the world. He was crucial in the survival of the Chelish invasion. For no Magnimarian ship ever appeared to save Sandpoint, so he took his 2 ships out to fight off the fleet, off in the distance. Otherwise, the incoming fleet would have been much stronger.
Mhm.
I feel that since he was who Shara had in charge of the shipyard when Sandpoint disappeared, and he does not belong. He is not a member of Sandpoint. He appeared literally weeks before the disappearance, or weeks before the Chelish invasion, and then was issued his role months before Sandpoint disappeared. He belongs in the real world. He does not belong here. And he can aid you in whatever decision you make. Or go back to his previous holdings. And the people that do belong in Sandpoint that want to return, I can bring back to replace the powers that might be offset by him. Next month.
I think that is a smart move.
Let me
Then-
go talk to him and draw up the papers. I will meet up with you in an hour.
Corvus and Keshi, you have an hour in Sandpoint. The town of Sandpoint, the city of Sandpoint, and you are the last known living beings in the universe to get to see Sandpoint other than those who are on this plane of existence. What would you like to see and look at one last time?
Like
Because
commerce
you've both been here before.
Yeah. I mean, they still have commerce going on and you know whatnot. I think just get some things like you go on vacation to a place that you know you'll go back to and you're like, oh,
Next time.
I'll get this like knick-knack next time.
Yeah.
So like that'll be the thing, like go get a couple of pieces of glass from the glass works.
Right.
And
maybe
know,
a trinket from the theater, because the theater was really famous.
Yeah, and like go do the hagfish special to try to get the, you know, I drank the hagfish liquor and all I got with this stupid t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two shoes.
And Keshi's like, I don't give two shits.
Yeah. Get a drink.
Get a couple drinks. Yeah, there you go. Sandpoint had its own alcohol, so maybe check in with the local Abadarian, because there was an Abadarian mail point in Sandpoint.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, not that I can really do anything. You have a cat behind you now. Okay.
Right. Yeah, you can't do anything, but you can, you know, keep him apprised or update him of any whatever's, get his opinions on things. He's the Abadar. He is an Abadarian that lives in Sandpoint. He is the local Abadarian priest. Like there's no church or anything. It's just like a building that is a transfer point for things, and he's basically a post office worker. But he is a priest. Like, he's not just a worker for them. He is an actual priest, so.
I guess with him being a priest, I will just kind of get his like idea of what could have been better, like community wise, like on that whole aspect of like bringing commerce, bringing community. Like if Sandpoint had to be rebuilt from scratch, what would have been changes that should have been made?
He said that the things that Biston's Pond was starting to do was starting to affect Sandpoint in a positive way, to the fact that it was already going in the right direction with establishing. He had hopes that there would have been Magnimar and there would have been Korvosa, and then there would have been Sandpoint, and Sandpoint would have been its own power. He said that the as far as he understood, the shipping yard that was being built in the area that used to be just housed by garbage that the goblins used to raid, building a shipyard there, the intent was for Sandpoint to hopefully have its own fleet and be able to protect its own shipping lanes. And Biston's Pond would protect the lands. That was the hope. That was his hope. He had hope that people would start building homes along the riverfront all the way down through Biston's Pond, so the entire drive would have been civilization along the river. That was his hope. That's what he saw as the future. He had already established a mail route from Sandpoint to Biston's Pond, one that he hopes has continued since Sandpoint's disappearance. But he doesn't know. He doesn't even know what happened to Biston's Pond. As far as he knows, like, it's gone too.
I'll let him know. Well, are they? But so people here know that they can't go back.
Correct.
Okay, so I will let him know that Biston's Pond has not only survived, but thrived. they have become a community that, I mean, Sandpoint was only 1,200 people. And
Yeah,
I think
Biston's Pond is about 700-800.
Yeah, so they're like 3/4 that size.
Yeah.
With still room to grow.
Correct.
So I'll just let him know of just like the things that have progressed.
He's happy. He's like, Sandpoint will come back. Sandpoint always comes back. There is something magical about that point. Something that draws the populace to that location. When the original settlers came there, they came there and they didn't know why they settled, right? He says. They just settled there. There's just something about that area that draws humanity and civilization. And he doesn't know what it is. He's like, Sandpoint will rebuild. Regardless of what happens. Community will always find a way. Not to quote Jurassic Park.
Of course not.
Civilization and order will always find the way.
Thank you, brother.
He's like, the best of luck to you. I am glad that our order knows what happened. Abadar must have willed this. I've been praying that the world would know, or that the outside world would find out, that civilization here is still existing and that we are safe. And for the most part, happy. And safer than we were. In the last year, we have had no disasters. And there have been lanes with other communities that have been allowed to happen where we can somewhat trade and learn, and we have a few people from a small town we didn't know, but it's now Nick's brain farting. What's the world in between Minkai and here? All futuristic magic.
Oh,
Numeria?
yeah. What'd you call it?
Numeria?
Or
Numeria, yes.
No,
That's
not
what it is.
Numeria. Like the continents. There's another continent in between Minkai and
Oh.
Galer and
And
Avestan.
Avestan?
Yeah, and Avestan. The
No. Well, I mean, there's technically the crown of the world, which is like Antarctica. Because that's like the land route through them.
no, there's another continent. World map of Galarian. I just can't remember the name of it. They didn't map it. They intentionally didn't map it.
Oh, okay.
Casmaran. South of Casmaran is the open image, new tab. No, I want the image. No, it's discovered. It's where all the they just didn't put anything there.
Yeah, you're talking about, hold on, I gotta find. Oh, so yep, I forgot that there's that ocean there. Yeah, you're talking about, there's like the Chelish outpost. It is,
It's in Casmar, the south side of Casmaran. It's where they're all supposed to be known for being super powerful magic users, but they never mapped it.
yeah, it's,
And they always talk about it, and they always talk about the people from there.
yeah, it's to the west of Aslant on the other side of the Arcadian Ocean, but it doesn't give me, I have a map, I can tell you what each little area is, but it doesn't
Vudra,
give me
the
the name of
Vudran,
continent.
the Vudra. The Vudran people. Vudra, south of Casmaran. The nation of magic, where all the Rahas and all that kind of stuff are from. They're like, yes, we have a small outpost of Vudrani people we've been learning from and trading with. Yes, Rolana Halo, thank you.
Ah, well, that is good.
And a few other ones. It's been a very learning experience. All of the communities that are here. We're still trying to understand the cosmology of this existence and where we are living, but we're safe. We're safer than we've ever been. Everybody here misses their family, but we understand that it is due to us that we saved them. And we also understand that here we are safe from the terrors of the universe. For the most part.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This does help.
Best of luck to you.
You as well.
This entire part of the adventure is brought to you by Kesha, who wrote a letter to Maraktis, and had not done that, he would have never shown up. FYI. She changed the entire course of this adventure.
Nice.
Thank you, Keshi. It means I
And it was because of who she gave the letter to that expedited its delivery. If she did it anywhere else, it wouldn't have gotten to him until you guys were gone. But because of where she did it and who she did it with, it got to him immediately within a day.
Excellent. Cool.
So, a few hours, some time passes, and you meet back up with Maraktis. Unless there's anything else you want to do within town.
Nope.
And he says, we will return from whence we came, though a day earlier. Hopefully you have food and meals and prep time prepared to keep yourselves occupied until you catch up with yourselves.
Camping.
Camping. So you guys return to 9 a.m. As you appear on the same land from which you left, you see the little camp of the young boy and the son and the mother. And you see yourselves approaching on horseback from the west. And Maraktis looks over at the two and goes, ah, yes. I will have to catch you. When was the last time you spoke with them?
Tomorrow morning.
Yes, tomorrow morning.
He nods. He's like, can you make yourself scarce without either of them knowing? I can give you maybe 20 minutes of invisibility.
Yes.
Then yes.
He casts greater invisibility on mass invisibility on the two of you, because that will last. Or no, he casts invisibility sphere on Corvus and lets you know that it's a sphere around you, because that one I believe lasts longer. And he goes, just stay within proximity of each other and you should be able to see each other and no one should see you.
Like, well, we didn't go out to the point yesterday, so we could wander out there and just remain hidden.
There's nowhere to hide once the invisibility goes. We should go into the forest.
He's like,
that works then.
If you want, I can bring you into the forest for the day and return you in the morning. I have a cabin there.
That would be great.
Yeah, that works.
He smirks. He's like, very well. Some time passes. He doesn't teleport. He just like mundane, like invisibility. You guys get past the other two and then he walks you there through the forest. It takes you about a half hour to get to his cabin. You find Faye there are fae aplenty, and you find a small cabin in the woods.
It's not the horror story kind.
I mean, it looks kind of like the horror story kind, but it is a small cabin in the woods. It's got one bedroom. It's got a living area. It's got a front porch. It's very nice. It's got a little library. It is very, Keshi, it is very attuned to nature. You would think that this being his home, that he is also a druid. But then you remember that, like, his wife was a druid. And he is he feels very much a protector of the land, and the fae respect him as such. You see a treant is literally sitting next to the house talking to a fae creature. As close as this is and or was to Sandpoint, this is some of the wildest and most natural of nature you have seen, other than this cabin, which doesn't seem to put a blemish much in the landscape. This is where the red caps chill. Yeah, there's no evil fae here either.
Terrifying that red caps get to chill anywhere.
Yeah, right. They chill in the bathing in the blood of the innocents. The building itself, you get a feeling, has a personality of its own. The building and structure seems almost sentient. But you feel safe here. And at the same time, you also don't remember how you got in here. Like you, Keshi, who is very good at nature, you don't remember the path to get here. You spend the day here. You can read any books, enjoy nature, enjoy the day. But when morning comes, you return. He brings you. Actually, he has a one of the fae leads you to the edge of the forest. Because he has duties. He has things he has to do.
Oh, when they lead us away from to the edge of the forest, can they do it towards the direction of Biston's Pond?
Not towards Sandpoint? Where your friends are going to be?
Because we were leaving with him, and the assumption was we were going back to Biston's Pond and we were going to meet everyone there. When he originally took us, he was like, well, can I take your hands and they'll go back with your friends? Meaning like he was going to take us to Biston's Pond?
No, he was going to take you to, yeah, I suppose.
Like, yeah. Like that was the assumption.
Okay.
So it would make more sense for us to show up in Biston's Pond when they get
as
there.
long as that is what was communicated to the group, so that you would all meet back in Biston's Pond the next day, or that evening.
Yep.
All right. Ekhard and Iska. Yeah, they're just gone.
Okay. Well, wizards. That's a thing that happens.
Yeah. Ekhard, you're like, whatever just happened, you're now siding on the fact of maybe he was just pretending to not be powerful, because you can't teleport without coming in contact with someone. Like, that's not an option. There is no, like, teleport. And you didn't even see him really cast magic that you recall. They were just like, he's like, would you like something to know or whatever? And then they're just gone.
I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Yeah. And you focus 3 rounds, roll a spellcraft. Tell me what level you accomplish in recognizing.
I got a 16. Sadly, I don't know what level that necessarily.
I believe that's a level 6, isn't it? Isn't it 10 plus spell level?
Fifth level spell.
5th level spell.
It's 11 plus spell level.
Oh, okay.
You see magic. There's definitely magic. There are 2 spells in the area.
Am I able to ID at least the school?
Both of them are more powerful than you can identify.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they're more powerful than you can identify. could you get school? I think one of them you can recognize. The
Okay.
school is conjuration.
Okay.
What subtype under conjuration you're unsure of. The other school
Sure.
you have no idea. Like the other one,
And-
there is one that is the most powerful magic you've seen as far as the scope of what detect magic is telling you.
Okay.
Because you're seeing it the next round, so like the residual magic is still there. You
Sure.
haven't seen residual magic of that level, even in the school.
Okay.
I didn't think of you casting detect magic, and I didn't think Maraktis wouldn't have tried to disguise those two spells because he's like, it's technically three. Oh, you do know that it's as if these spells were cast like, I don't know, like four rounds ago.
Okay.
Like the magic was cast before they arrived.
Interesting. I look over at this guy. I think they teleported out of here, maybe. I'm not 100% certain, but conjuration magic was involved, which if I do recall, teleportation does fall under.
It does. It does.
Okay, well, we will help the dwarves and hopefully meet them back in Biston's Pond. I guess.
You guys collect rock, stone, you collect samples, you recognize it. You understand that the structure is pretty solid. If you were to build a base here, if you could flatten it out, and you wouldn't even necessarily have to flatten out, you could flatten out sections big enough to build structures on, and you could just make steps that go to areas much like the tree houses do, that the elves reportedly do. Like, you could have multiple levels for each house, depending on the structures, because each little hexagon is a perfect uniform hexagon, and they're all flat. So if you could just chisel them away to all be a flat enough space to put a structure on, or multiple structures, like you could still have multiple levels of buildings on this area.
Okay.
And it can support it. It is strong, and it is heavy enough. Do you have any other questions about the basalt from the dwarves? They can answer all that.
Okay.
I don't think Iska does at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I think once we've kind of let them do their survey, I think Eckard's brain is primarily running in terms of plots to deal with the Scarnettis in various ways, shapes, or form.
Fair enough. They don't return, but as far as you understood it, that they were going to end up meeting you back at Biston's Pond.
Okay.
For the meeting tonight with the group. So as far as you understand, you should probably head back so you can get there in time for the committee meeting.
Then,
Corvus, did you want this to be a city one or just a private one group with the council?
Just with the council.
Okay. I just had to clarify.
Because there's like stuff they gotta sign in triplicate.
So, you guys travel back, and as you approach, you realize that Corvus and Keshi are already there in town.
Okay.
At the inn. And you all meet up, and you have about an hour before your meeting with the committee, and you actually know you have seen some of them, Corvus and Keshi, because you've been here for hours now.
Okay.
Corvus and Keshi, you have seen some of the council members like approaching and gathering. You've seen the farmer come in with his wagons, and like people tell him, and he's like, yep, I know. And he gets off, and like he's not hauling anything. He's coming for the meeting and getting off and meeting. So you know that they're kind of gathering and talking to each other throughout the town, and eventually they'll join at the gathering point at whatever location you guys had decided. I don't remember. I don't think you specified a location.
We were renting a meeting room in the inn.
In the inn, okay.
Yep. And then we were gonna supply have the inn do food for it.
Okay. So you guys meet in your private rooms before the meeting. To see what you have to see.
I think I would also do a quick check-in with the child and his mom. If to see if
they have spoken with Eli.
Okay. And that's all that I really.
Yeah, they've spoken to Eli, and she says that she's gonna stay in town. She's much calmer now. And
okay.
She says that she's going to stay. She'll probably stay in town.
Okay.
Corvus and Keshi, I'm gonna say you guys were there when she saw Maraktis, aka Miles. I'm gonna retcon a little bit to the past. When she sees him, she recognizes him instantly, and she runs to him crying and says something about, they made him look into the mirror. They made him look into the mirror, and it reacted in such a way that nobody's reacted before. It said that he was theirs, and they're going to come for him. They're going to come for him. The mirror wants him. It called to him. They know about him. You've got to protect him. And he proceeds to calm her down. And says that
means.
Right. But it's a little bit of out of character knowledge too, for those of you who know, to give a little insight. But he calms her down and says, he'll be safer here than he would be there. Eli, the headmaster whom you've met, will help teach him. And I will be here. I come here almost every other week. I will do my best to keep an eye. I know plenty of people who come here. I know the entire town, and I know lots of people. I can't guarantee safety, but in the course of the world and all the places in the world you could have gone, this will be the safest. To which we fast forward again, where she's talking to Ekhard. She's like, we're gonna stay in town, and he's going to go to school here.
I'm glad to hear
we have a house set up for us.
Excellent.
She's like, I'm gonna try and take what Corvus paid us for our help and try to set up a small shop and see if I can gather some books, and open my own small bookshop here. Eli's going to help me in getting some starter supplies from around the world for trading books, and I'm going to spend some of my time teaching reading to some of the local children, and maybe open a small school on the and help facilitate that as well.
I know it's not a large donation, but I would like to donate this to your cause. And I'll hand over like 100 gold.
Okay. She's like, this will help books. I think as a donation from you, it'll be a donation to the school, and we can get books for the children. If this town is going to grow, they're going to need education, and they're going to need to learn to read. And hopefully we're safe. So thank you for your help. And she gives you a hug, Ekhard.
Okay.
And Iska, she shakes your hand. And she nods to Corvus and Keshi, who are in the distance. And they take their bags, toss them over their shoulders, and leave the inn.
Hey.
Nice.
To which you guys see each other. Corvus and Keshi entering, Ekhard and Iska, having watched them vanish in thin air, and spent the rest of the day hauling stone.
That's fine. I've done worse. Hey, where'd you guys
Ekhard
go?
hauling stone beneath you.
To be fair, I didn't haul the stone. My unseen servants hauled the stone.
I mean, they can only carry 5 pounds, so...
So it's small samples.
Yeah. I mean, it is just samples, right?
No, they filled the wagon.
We were loading the samples into the wagon
You
anyway.
filled
so,
the wagon. They were filling the wagon with stone. They said, can we
Right.
take some samples? Can we fill the wagon with stone? And Corvus said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
so,
true.
And I grabbed the small samples.
Okay.
With the
I'm gonna look at Shaw, like Eckert, my friend. If you become a all-powerful wizard that can bend space, when you try to impress somebody with your magic, don't turn them invisible and make them walk across the countryside. It is not the way to do it.
Okay.
Okay. Duly noted.
Because Maraktis doesn't like to use magic unless the maximum thing. So it's like, I can invis you, but I don't need to teleport you. We can get there if we walk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's all about the ethical use of magic.
So what did you find out about the stone? Did the dwarves tell you anything? Like the strength of it? Is it going to be like, could a new city be built upon it? Is it better to mine it out, remove it?
It could be used as a resource, as a very solid stone, but it's also not the easiest to mine per se, but it could definitely be used to build some sort of defensive or otherwise civilian structures on that spot. Like there are some distinct possibilities, but it will require some special equipment, I guess you could say, or special training. It's definitely not something for the
But you
for
also
those
know
that are
you also learned that it's valuable. It's valuable for building and structures, and it's strong.
Yeah, the basalt itself is quite valuable just due to its sturdiness, and the hexagonal shape makes it gives it a lot of rigidity and sturdiness. So there is a lot of potential there.
That is good. Do you, Eckert, and you, Iska, have records of what your cities were sending in each year to Sandpoint to help with like the militia and like the upkeep, things of that nature? I was not able to find anything in my records, and with the town gone, I have no way to check theirs.
I would say that you guys do have some of that information available.
Okay.
You yourselves haven't looked through it. You have it, but you haven't looked super closely at it.
Mm-hmm.
We I do have some information from Korvosa, yes.
Good.
Yeah, and I have some from Magnimar.
If you could find those numbers, I'm just concerned that it wasn't enough. I do not think either of your two cities did what was needed to care for a town of this importance, and that might be why it is gone.
I agree.
I can't argue that.
Yeah.
Actually, we have been discussing, Iska and I, about perhaps perhaps an opportunity that we can help steer the course of this and make sure that while both cities' interests are assuaged, so to speak, that they don't exploit the people, and ultimately to try to make this place better. Admittedly, we're still kind of formulating our last minute arguments when we go before the town elders.
Iska, do you just hand over the paperwork, or do you look at them before you hand it over?
I'll review it first just to see what's in there.
Okay.
Like, give it to me tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I won't review it super closely, but I want to know the contents more than I know them at present.
Agreed.
I'm going to have you both make a knowledge. It'll be like a profession merchant or an equivalent, or something you think would be an accurate usage of a profession skill.
I have proficient merchant. I got a 21.
Okay.
I don't have a profession skill.
Okay.
My profession is noble.
I will give you a barrister would also count if you have a barrister in anything, and I will say a nobility for you, Ekhard, if you don't have anything else, will be the closest.
Knowledge, nobility. I do have some ranks in. So I'll try that.
You look through the paperwork and you find that there should have been a suitable, like, you're looking at the paperwork and, like, you find an inconsistency before, like, that later that night when you're looking over it before you give it to Corvus, or before you will give it to him in the next morning, and you find an inconsistency that there is a gap in the protection time of passing fleets protecting Sandpoint, where they were specifically and intentionally redirected almost at the exact same time of the Korvosan invasion. Away from Sandpoint.
Korvosan or
Cheliak, sorry. The Chelish invasion. Like, something pulled the fleet away to stop protection at that specific time. You don't know what, you don't know why, and only because you rolled a 21 do you see the inconsistency, whereas any normal person would be like, yeah, there was a fleet that came through. But you realize some things where, like, no, this would have meant that they would have rerouted at this time, and nobody would have even noticed. In fact, to this point, because you know...
Right.
This is all been a surprise to you. They were supposed to be there. Now you see something happened where they were intentionally not there to protect. Ekhard with a 14, like, yeah, you've got paperwork.
Okay.
It's the stuff. Yeah, this is numbers, finances. It's not magic. It's all that's for the book. That's for the paper pushers that you pay to do the work. Yeah, this is all the stuff that Corvus is looking for, though. You're sure of it.
Okay.
It also includes, like, taxes to both cities and the claiming rights. And some noble families give taxes to certain areas. It depends. There's just jurisdiction based on which taxes go to which city. Some go to both, most all of the shipping stuff and anything to do with sailing or trading via seas, any of that kind of stuff usually ends up going to Magnimar. A good portion of stuff goes to Magnimar. There are some core old laws that say that shops and lands and purchases of land and that kind of stuff, that kind of taxes, as well as road maintenance and whatnot, that stuff goes to Korvosa. But it's mostly for that. There isn't really any taxes for military or militia whatsoever. There's also no agreement of that sort from Korvosa.
Okay.
That is mostly on Sandpoint, as far as you know, Ekhard. As far as what you can see.
Okay.
So that is kind of what we'll have, and we'll say that is the information you guys can pass along to Corvus as well, just so you guys can have it in your notes.
Sure.
With that being said, anything else for the evening that you guys want to discuss about your findings, or anything you guys want to ask Corvus and Kesha? Keshi. Kesha.
Mhm.
So where did he... So what was his... I guess, what discoveries did you make, or what did you find out when you traveled with him? I admit I am curious.
If you're allowed to share, of course. Clearly, he didn't want us involved.
It was an cosmic, much like what Eli said. It was a cosmic accident, a cosmic disaster.
That destroyed Sandpoint?
Yes.
Disappeared Sandpoint? Whatever?
The easiest way to think about it is there was a tidal wave hit, and once the water receded, the city was gone. I would assume swept out to sea, and the stones erupted. Open up my book, Tectonic Plates.
Yeah.
Shifting of the plates causes the stone to rise up from deep underground. But as to
Okay.
what caused
Sounds
cosmic events,
makes sense to you.
Yeah, I have no skills in knowledge nature, so yeah.
angered God, perhaps.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Cosmic event. Sandpoint doesn't exist anymore. Great. Got it.
Sandpoint does not exist. There is, in fact, so gone there is no sand left. Just
I
stone.
did notice that, yes.
A stone point.
You turn.
Sandpoint. Catchy.
Indeed. Have you decided what happens with the land yet? Do you decide that? Do we decide?
I decide, and I'm still deciding. But now I have to talk about another name change as I make my way into the dinner.
Yeah, you see all the people gathering and sitting down. The halfling that runs the Eagle Inn has brought in some cooks to cook a larger meal and some food for the party, the event. And you see all of these nobles, or not nobles, all of these people coming in that are members of the council. And one that comes in and sits down, you guys walk in, you see a pseudo dragon is sitting there talking to some of them. And he's different than all of the other pseudo dragons. He stands out from them. He actually has gear and armor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he actually has a little guitar strung over his back, a little miniature pseudo-dragon shaped guitar.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
That's very adorable.
That is cool.
And he flutters over to you guys and he bows and he says, "Sorry, I have not yet introduced myself. My name is Whimsy. I am the representative of the founders of the city, and I am a member of the council."
Ah, you made it. Good.
And he bows. He's like, "I also represent the pseudo-dragon and house drake factions that live within the town. I am also the chief messenger that goes between here and to our mutual friend, Maraktis." And he looks at the two of you, Ekhard and Iska, and goes, or as you would know him as, Miles.
Yes. Okay.
He's like,
Okay.
"I reside within the tower." And he points over to the tower.
Oh, okay. So
You're the
you
occupant? Okay.
is that your tower?
Yes, it is my tower. I live in the peaks, and the very tippy top is mine and my family's. And we live and reside within.
Okay.
Quite
Great.
impressive.
Very
Nice
impressive.
to meet you.
And he nods. And he kind of like looks sheepishly to the side. He's like, "At any rate, I humbly apologize for not introducing myself yesterday.
Yesterday?
Or today.
What, were you just like spying on us for fun?
Yes. Not for fun, though. Curiosity and knowledge."
Well, thank you for the honesty.
You deserve
learn
the
anything?
honesty.
Well, thank you.
It is at this point that you all realize he is the reason that Miles knows as much as he knew, because he spied and then just told him all.
Yeah.
With that being
Makes
said,
sense.
as the beginning of the thing is about to begin, we will resume and we will have the final Sandpoint decision next time on Tiny Tales.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. And it might just be a short one. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to raid on out. Where are we raiding? Nope, that stream is ending. Where are we raiding? That person already raided out. Where are we going? We're going to go over here. We haven't raided our good old friend Science in a while. So we're going to go and give him some love. He has quite grown in the last couple years. And we're going to go and show him some love. A Twitch ambassador, I mean, that's the highest form of highest, right? He's an ambassador. He is the man of science. And today is a science art day. So we're going to go and give our friend Science some love. Copy and paste our raid messages. Say hello over there. And if you like to learn about science or ants, you can go and join him for all of those things. He is a biologist and specifies in ants, but his wife is also a biologist, and they have a whole family that is just loves all things science. So we're going to go over there. We're going to share some love, say hello. Thank you guys so much for being here. A reminder that tomorrow there is no stream. There is no stream tomorrow, but I will be back on Friday. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to Matt and the rest of the crew. Matt, Holly, Brian, Aubrey, thank you so much, because you guys, they should know they probably know your names by now. Thank you guys all for being part of this game and adventure, and I can't wait to see the conclusion and Corvus's ultimate decision of what happens to Sandpoint. Thank you all. Take care and have a fantastic night, everyone.